Paw Patrol, Pirate Pups. One day, while exploring the cliffs above Adventure Bay, Captain Turbot slipped and fell down a dark hole. At the bottom, he discovered an old pirate hideout. He was stuck in the creepy cavern, but he knew who could help him: the Paw Patrol. Ryder called the Paw Patrol to the lookout and told them about Captain Turbot. "He's stuck in a cavern filled with pirate stuff, and he thinks it might be the hideout of the legendary Captain Blackfur," Ryder said. "No one knows what he looked like or what happened to his treasure." Ryder needed Chase and Rubble for the rescue, but he told the rest of the pups to be ready, just in case. Rubble was excited. He really wanted to be a pirate. Ryder, Chase, and Rubble raced to the cliffs and found the hole. "Chase," Ryder said, "I need your winch hook to lower me into the cave."
"Chase is on the case."
He pulled the hook over and Ryder locked it onto his safety belt. Chase carefully lowered Ryder into the dark hole. The pups joined Ryder and Captain Turbot down below. Using Chase's spotlight, they found cool pirate stuff: a spyglass, a flag, and a real pirate hat. Ryder put the hat on Rubble's head.
"Arr!"
said Rubble.
"Shiver me timbers!"
Chase sniffed the air.
"I smell seawater,"
he said. He followed the scent and discovered a secret passage, but it was blocked by rocks.
"That must be the way to the beach,"
said Ryder.
"Stand back, landlubbers,"
said Rubble as he cleared the way with his digger. Ryder and the pups followed the passage to the beach. They found an old bottle with part of a map inside it.
"Is it a pirate treasure map?"
Rubble asked.
"Could be,"
said Ryder. "We need all paws on deck to solve this mystery." Ryder called the rest of the pups to the beach and told them that the map had been torn into 3 pieces. "There's a clue to where we'll find the next piece," he said. "The part of the map that you seek hides in the big parrot's beak." The pups thought about the clue. Suddenly, Rocky said, "Those boulders at the bottom of Jake's mountain kind of look like a parrot."
"Let's check it out,"
Chase barked. The team hurried to the rocks that looked like a giant parrot. Skye flew up and found a bottle in its beak. Another piece of the map was inside. Rocky taped the pieces together, and Ryder read the next clue. "From atop Parrot Rock, look toward the sea. A clue hides in the hollow of a very big tree." "If we can solve that clue," Ryder said, "we should find Blackfur's treasure." Chase thought for a moment. "The biggest trees around are in Little Hootie's forest." "Good thinking," Ryder exclaimed. The forest was filled with lots of big trees, so Chase asked Little Hootie if he had seen an old bottle in any of the branches. He had. Little Hootie fluttered up to a hole high in a tree. Marshall drove his fire truck to the base of the tree, extended the ladder, and climbed up. "Little Hootie was right," he said. He took down a bottle that contained the last piece of the map. Rocky taped the pieces together. They now had the whole map. Ryder read the final clue. "Walk 20 paces from the tree toward setting sun and rising sea." Ryder turned to face the sun and the sea, and he started walking. From the edge of the cliff, Ryder and the pups saw something amazing through the fog. It was an old pirate ship next to a deserted island.
"Do you think it's Captain Blackfur's ship?"
Rubble asked. The Paw Patrol worked together to pull the ship onto the beach. News of the find spread through Adventure Bay. Mayor Goodway and her pet chicken, Chickaletta, came to see the exciting discovery. On board, Ryder, Captain Turbot, and the pups found an old treasure chest. Inside were coins, jewels, a gold bone, and even a fancy dog bowl. Why would a pirate captain have a dog bowl? Marshall asked. Then, digging through the treasure, Ryder found an old picture of Captain Blackfur. Captain Blackfur was a pirate pup.
He looks just like me, except with a black fur beard,
Rubble exclaimed. The team let out a mighty "Arr!" 3 cheers for the pirate pups of the Paw Patrol. The end. Paw Patrol, Itty-Bitty Kitty Rescue. It was a warm, sunny day. Chase and Rubble were having a great time playing catch at the beach. Then, they heard a far-off cry.
Meow! Meow!
A kitten was clinging to a toy boat out in the water.
Uh-oh, Rubble exclaimed. That little kitty is in trouble.
We need to tell Ryder,
Chase said. Chase and Rubble raced to the lookout to tell Ryder about the kitty. No job is too big, no pup is too small, declared Ryder. He pushed a button on his pup pad and sounded the Paw Patrol alarm. Minutes later, Marshall, Skye, Rocky, and Zuma joined their puppy pals at the lookout.
Paw Patrol is ready for action,
reported Chase, sitting at attention. A kitten is floating out to sea, Ryder announced, pointing to the viewing screen behind him.
We have to save the itty-bitty kitty,
exclaimed Rubble. Then he straightened up and added,
we have to save the kitten.
Zuma, your hovercraft is perfect for a water rescue, Ryder said.
Ready, set, get wet,
Zuma barked. And Skye, Ryder continued, I'll need you and your helicopter to help find the kitten quickly.
This pup's gotta fly,
Skye exclaimed. Zuma's hovercraft splashed across Adventure Bay. Ryder turned his ATV into a jet ski and followed. Up above, Skye zoomed through the air. She quickly spotted the kitten. We're here to help you, Ryder said, easing his jet ski to a stop. The little kitten jumped from her boat and landed on Zuma's head. The startled pup fell into the water. Zuma yelled, "Don't touch the..." The kitten accidentally hit the throttle and raced off on the hovercraft. The hovercraft zoomed around the bay. Overhead, Skye turned this way and that, trying to follow the hovercraft's twisting course.
This kitty is making me dizzy,
she groaned. Ryder pulled up next to the hovercraft and jumped on board. He stopped the engine and gently picked up the shivering kitten. Everything's all right, he said, pulling a slimy piece of seaweed off the kitten. Let's take you back to dry land and get you cleaned up. Later that day, Rubble skateboarded into Katie's pet parlor with his new BFF.
Aw, whose cute kitty is that?
Katie asked.
We don't know,
Rubble explained.
We found her on the bay with no collar or tags, just this purple ribbon. Does the kitty-witty want a nice warm bath?
Rubble asked.
Meow,
the kitten replied. Do you want me to do it? Katie asked. Cats can be a little tricky to bathe. Tricky, Rubble said. Not this little sweetie. But the kitten had other ideas. The moment she touched the water, she jumped away with a screech. She scurried along shelves, knocking over bottles of shampoo. Rubble slipped on a spinning bottle. The kitten fell onto Rubble's skateboard and rolled out the door. Down the street from Katie's pet parlor, Ryder got a message from Rocky. A little girl is looking for her lost kitty named Precious. Ryder recognized the kitten in the picture the girl was holding. Before he could say a word, Precious rolled past on Rubble's skateboard. She skated down a hill and disappeared into town.
Chase, it's time to use your super sniffer,
Ryder said. Chase needed something with the kitty's scent on it. Luckily, they had her purple ribbon. Chase took a deep sniff.
She went that way. Achoo!
Sorry, cat hair makes me sneeze.
Sniff, sniff, sniff. Chase followed the scent until he found Rubble's skateboard at the bottom of the town hall steps.
Good sniffing,
Ryder said. Ryder and the pups looked around and saw a shocking sight. The kitty was inside the town hall bell tower. Ryder pulled out his pup pad and called for Marshall and his fire truck. "I'm all fired up," Marshall said as his fire truck screeched to a halt in front of the town hall. He arrived at the same time as the kitty's owner. Ryder told Marshall to put up his ladder.
we need to get the kitten down from that tower.
"I'm on it," Marshall declared. He extended the truck's ladder and carefully started to climb. Marshall reached the top of the ladder. The scared little kitten was clinging desperately to a rope in the tower. "I'll get you down safely," Marshall said. "Come here."
Meow.
Precious whimpered. The kitten jumped from the rope. She tried to grab Marshall's helmet, but missed and clutched his face instead. "Whoa!" Marshall yelped. He couldn't see. The ladder shook. Marshall lost his grip. He and the kitten fell off the ladder. Ryder caught Marshall and the little kitty tumbled into her owner's arms.
Precious,
The girl exclaimed.
you're okay. You owe these brave pups a thank you for all their help.
"Whenever you need us," Ryder said, "just yelp for help." The end. Hi again. It's been a while since we had a Paw Patrol book, and this one is pretty good. It's all paws on deck as the pups search all over Adventure Bay to save the day when Alex loses his backpack on his first day of school. If you like this book, check out the other Paw Patrol books I've read in the Paw Patrol Read Aloud playlist, linked in the first line of the description below. And now, let's read Paw Patrol, The First Day of School. Written by Matt Huntley. Illustrated by Jason Fruchter. It was the first day of school, and Alex Porter was very excited. He was looking forward to riding the bus, playing with his friends, and learning from his teachers.
My new backpack is all ready, and I have a tuna sandwich for lunch.
Alex announced proudly. "Sounds like you're prepared for the big day," his grandfather said. "You'd better grab your backpack. The bus will be here soon." That was when Alex realized there was a problem. Alex couldn't find his new red backpack.
Backpack,
He called out.
where did I leave you? Where did you go?
Alex and his grandpa looked everywhere, but they couldn't find it.
I can't go to my first day of school without my new backpack.
Alex said.
What will I do?
"Don't worry," Mr. Porter said, patting his grandson's shoulder reassuringly. "Everything will be okay." Luckily, they knew who they could call. Over at the lookout, the Paw Patrol were doing their morning yoga. "Let's do downward dog," Chase said, striking a pose. All the pups except one followed him. "It looks like Marshall is doing snoring dog," Rocky said with a giggle. Just then, Ryder got a call on his pup pad. It was Alex, and he told Ryder all about the missing backpack. "Don't worry," Ryder said. "We'll find it. No job is too big, no pup is too small." Ryder called the pups to the lookout and told them about Alex's problem. "We need to help him find his backpack before the school bus comes."
Oh no!
Skye exclaimed.
Poor Alex!
Ryder looked at Chase. "I need your police pup skills to find clues for where Alex left his backpack."
Chase is on the case.
The pup replied. Skye, Ryder continued, I need you to search from the air with your telescopic goggles.
Yippee!
Skye said.
This pup's gotta fly.
While Skye searched for the school bus, Ryder and Chase raced to Mr. Porter's cafe. After they arrived, Ryder asked Alex when he last saw his backpack.
Yesterday,
Alex replied.
we went to the park to feed Fuzzy.
Great, Chase said. Let's check the park. But Alex had more to say.
Then we went to the beach, and then we went to City Hall to deliver apples, and then…
Oh no, Chase exclaimed. We can't check all those places before the bus comes. Alex mentioned that he and his grandpa had also gone to visit Farmer Yumi and Mayor Goodway. We need all paws on deck, Ryder announced. Back at the lookout, the other pups jumped into their trucks and sped into action. Marshall raced to the park, and Zuma headed for the beach. At the same time, Rocky zoomed to City Hall, and Rubble motored to Yumi's farm. Marshall reached the park and saw his friend Fuzzy, the baby goose. Hi, he said, jumping down from his truck. Have you seen a red backpack around here?
Chirp,
the little bird replied with a shrug of his wings. Marshall looked around the park. He spotted some red things, but no book bags. Then suddenly, Fuzzy saw something in a nearby tree. Ladder up, Marshall said as he prepared to search the tree. When he climbed up, he found a red balloon. That's not a backpack, Marshall said. We all have to keep looking. Out at Adventure Bay Beach, Zuma was busy searching for the backpack. Looking offshore, he saw something red. Zuma sped across the water, but the red thing started moving away. Come here, you silly backpack, he said. Wally the walrus suddenly popped out of the water with the red thing on his head. Zuma quickly realized it wasn't a backpack. That's just an old red life preserver, he said. Zuma scooped it up and took it back to the beach where someone could use it. He also radioed Ryder that the search had to continue. Just then, Skye called Ryder.
The bus is getting closer.
Thanks, Skye, Ryder replied. We'll have to work fast. He called Rubble. Rubble, have you had any luck at the farm? At that very moment, Rubble was rolling up to Farmer Yumi's barn. Now, if I were a backpack, where would I be? He looked around and saw a lot of red things. A barn, a basket of apples, and a tractor. He was just about to leave when he spotted something else. Shovel, he called out, and his digger extended from his pup pack. Rubble lifted a hay bale, but quickly realized he hadn't found the backpack. That's just one of Farmer Yumi's old bandanas. Over at City Hall, Mayor Goodway was just about to be interviewed when Rocky arrived.
I spy something red,
Rocky declared, and raced toward the mayor, who was holding something red. We are very proud to announce, the mayor began, that Adventure Bay is on solid ground and… Uh-oh! Whoopsies! Rocky grabbed the red thing from the mayor and accidentally pulled her away from the camera. Unfortunately, Rocky had only found the mayor's red purse. Oops, sorry, Mayor. Just then, Chickaletta popped out of the purse.
What?
Rocky apologized to Chickaletta, too. Time was running out, so Ryder called Alex again. Where else did you go? Alex thought for a moment.
We went to the station to watch the trains come in.
Ryder and the pups quickly raced to Adventure Bay train station. At the station, Ryder and the Paw Patrol saw the red book bag. It was hanging off the back of a caboose. There it is, Chase said. Let's grab it and get Alex to school, replied Ryder. But then Chase noticed that the bag was moving, and he sneezed. Achoo! Chase was about to say that he was allergic to cats, and then Callie's furry head popped out of the bag. She had smelled Alex's sandwich and crawled inside to eat it. Everyone giggled, but then a whistle blew and the train started to leave the station, taking the backpack and the cat with it.
Meow!
Callie cried. "There goes the backpack!" Chase exclaimed. Ryder called Skye. "We have to catch that train!" Skye moved her copter overhead and lowered a rope with a harness to Ryder. He buckled himself in and was pulled into the air. Skye raced after the train with Ryder dangling beneath her. They got closer and closer, but the train kept going faster and faster.
Meow!
Callie cried again. With a mighty effort, Ryder swung himself on the rope, reached out, and rescued the backpack and Callie. But could they get to Alex before the school bus arrived? Meanwhile, as the school bus pulled up to Mr. Porter's store, Alex shrugged sadly.
I'm sorry I lost my backpack, Grandpa. I really wanted to have it for my first day of school.
Mr. Porter patted Alex's shoulder comfortingly. It's time to go. But just as Alex was stepping onto the bus, someone shouted to him, "Alex, catch!" It was Ryder. As Skye lowered him to the street, he threw the red backpack to Alex.
Yay!
Alex exclaimed.
This is going to be the best first day of school ever!
A few minutes later, Alex arrived at school with his red backpack. He couldn't wait to go to his classroom, meet his teacher, make new friends, and start his first day of school, even though Callie had eaten his tuna sandwich. With their busy rescue completed, Ryder and the pups returned to the lookout. "You pups were really great today," Ryder said, "and now you must be very hungry. Here's your breakfast." He filled their empty bowls with tasty kibble. No job is too big, no pup is too small. The end. Paw Patrol, the Clean Green Rescue. It was a sunny day in Adventure Bay, and the Paw Patrol was busy fixing up Main Street Park. They were planting flowers and trees and picking up litter. "Great work, team," said Ryder. "The park is going to look great for tomorrow's We Love the Earth Fun Fair."
The birds seem to like the new trees we planted,
Skye announced as she zoomed overhead. "And these new flowers smell really pretty," Rubble declared. Chase took a sniff and let out a big sneeze.
Achoo! "Everything is going to be perfect for the fair," Ryder said.
"And the concert," Marshall added. "I can't believe Luke Stars is doing a show here tomorrow." "I'm going to dance, dance, dance," said Rubble.
"Then we'd better head back to the lookout and get some sleep," said Ryder.
That night, a big storm hit Adventure Bay. Wind howled, rain poured, and thunder rolled. All the noise woke Rubble and Chase, so they got up and looked out a window. "Will this ruin the fair?" Rubble asked.
"I hope not," Chase replied. "I'm sure it'll end by morning."
Chase was right. By morning, the rain had stopped and the sun was shining. But the storm had done some damage. Ryder got an emergency call on his pup pad. It was Farmer Al. "Lightning struck our big oak tree last night," he said. "It fell across the road. We won't be able to get to the fair tonight."
"Don't worry, Farmer Al," said Ryder. "The Paw Patrol is on the roll."
Ryder called the team to the lookout. Rubble was dancing with excitement. "Do you want us to get ready for the concert?" he asked.
"Not yet," Ryder answered. "Farmer Al needs help cleaning up after the storm."
Ryder passed out the assignments.
"Chase," he said, "I'll need you and Marshall to head to the farm to take a big fallen oak tree off the road.
I'm fired up, Marshall said. He and Chase ran to their trucks and raced to help. At the farm, Farmer Yumi and Farmer Al were waiting for Chase and Marshall by the fallen tree. When the pups arrived, the tree seemed even bigger to them than Ryder had said. How did this oak tree get so big? Marshall asked. It was 200 years old, Farmer Yumi told them. Squirrels, deer, and other animals ate the acorns that fell from its branches. Birds, bugs, and animals lived inside the tree too. It helped clean our air, and it gave us shade. Chase used his winch to pull the tree off the road. We can plant new trees like we did at the park, Marshall suggested. He helped Farmer Yumi plant a few smaller trees nearby. These trees grow quickly, Farmer Yumi said. They'll be big and strong soon. Chase helped load the wood from the fallen tree into Farmer Al's truck. There must be something we can make from all this great wood. Right, Farmer Al agreed. We can't waste it. He thought for a moment. I have an idea. It'll be a surprise. Meanwhile, back at the lookout, Ryder got a call from Captain Turbot. Litter, the Ryder is covered in beach, said Captain Turbot. Ryder, the beach is covered in litter from the storm. We're on it, Ryder replied, then turned to the pups. Rocky, bring your recycling truck to the beach, he said. We need to pick up all the trash that landed there from the storm. If there's trash on the beach, it's probably in the water too, Zuma replied. I can help. That's a great idea, said Ryder. In fact, maybe we should all go and pitch in. Just then, Chase called Ryder on his pup pad. Marshall and I have cleaned up the farm, Ryder, sir. What else can we do to help? Great job, pups, Ryder said. Join us on the beach. We have to clean up there, too. We're on the case, Chase exclaimed. Chase and Marshall rolled up to the beach, ready to help their friends. There's a lot of trash here, Chase said. There sure is, Zuma said. He held up a plastic bag. The wind blows bags like these all over Adventure Bay. Lots of them end up in the ocean. Sometimes turtles and seals think the floating bags are food, Rocky added. Then we'd better clean this up right away, said Chase. Captain Turbot and the pups got to work. Rocky set up recycling stations and showed his friends how to sort the litter. Marshall, said Rocky, can you stack the cardboard and paper? Chase, pick up all the plastic you can find. Don't touch anything that looks sharp or dangerous. Zuma set out in his hovercraft. He threw a net into the water and dragged it behind the boat to collect the litter. Zuma returned to the shore, his net filled with litter. The pups recognized things in the net that they used every day, like straws, plastic soda can rings, water bottles, and snack bags. Seabirds and fish could get tangled in trash that ends up in the water, Rocky said. We should recycle all this plastic and keep it out of our water for good. With everyone working together, the last of the litter was picked up and sorted. Great work, pups, said Ryder. Positively perfect, Captain Turbot agreed. This big beach is beautiful again. And just in time, said Chase. The fair is about to start. And the concert, Rubble added excitedly. Then Ryder received another call. It was Luke Stars. There was a mudslide on the mountain road, he reported. My tour bus is stuck. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the fair. Don't worry, Ryder replied. We'll be right there. The Paw Patrol rolled to the rescue. Ryder and the team found the tour bus. It was surrounded by mud and blocked by giant boulders that had rolled down the mountain. Luke leaned out the window and waved to the pups. I'm so glad you're here. Do you think you can help? Don't worry, Rubble called. We'll have you out in no time. He turned to Ryder. What should we do? Rubble, I need you to use your digger to shovel the mud out of the way and lift those rocks, said Ryder. I can dig it, Rubble exclaimed. Ryder turned to Chase. And I need your winch to pull out some of the bigger boulders. I'm on it, Chase replied. While the pups worked, Rocky asked Ryder how such a big mudslide could have happened. The weather is warmer this year, said Ryder. The snow melted quickly and loosened all the dirt that held the rocks. The storm washed everything down the hill. There's a lot of mud, and we're moving slowly, Rubble reported to Ryder. I don't know if we can get the tour bus out in time for the concert. Marshall, can you use your water cannons to help clear away the mud? Ryder asked. And Skye, can you give Luke a lift to the show? The two pups answered yes, then sprang into action. Meanwhile, at Main Street Park, the fair was all set up. But Mayor Goodway was getting nervous. We have games and face painting, she said. Everything we need for a fun day. All we're missing is our main attraction. Where could Luke's stars be, Chickaletta? Just then, Skye zoomed over the crowd in her helicopter, carrying Luke's stars in a rescue harness. She set him gently on the stage, and everyone cheered. The Paw Patrol sure knows how to make an entrance, the mayor exclaimed. Just as Luke was starting his first song, the Paw Patrol arrived at the park with the tour bus. It was completely clean and looking good as new. They ran to the show and found Farmer Yumi and Farmer Al, who unveiled their surprise. We made this picnic table from the tree that fell at the farm, said Farmer Al. Now, whenever anyone comes to this wonderful park, they'll remember how important it is not to waste anything. That's a great idea, Ryder exclaimed. Don't lose it, reuse it, said Rocky. Luke's stars called Ryder and the pups onto the stage with him. This next song, he told the crowd, is dedicated to the Paw Patrol. Without them, today would not have happened. They made this park beautiful, and they got me here on time. Don't mention it, Ryder said. We love our town, and we like to keep it clean and help our friends. It's fun, and not hard to do when we all work together. It's almost as fun as dancing, giggled Rubble. As the sun set, the music started to play. Luke began singing, and everyone danced. It was the perfect end to a very busy day. The end.
Hi, and thanks for coming to see me. Today we're going to read a Paw Patrol story where the pups all get superpowers. That's right, even Everest. Also, Chase has to step up and be a leader when Ryder is kidnapped. Can he lead his team to victory and save Adventure Bay? I sure hope so. If you like this story, check out the other Paw Patrol books I read in my Paw Patrol playlist. It's linked in the first line of the description below. And now, let's read Paw Patrol, Mighty Pup Power. Written by Hollis James. Illustrated by Fabrizio Petrosi. It was a big day at Adventure Bay Beach because Mayor Humdinger was preparing to blast off in his rocket ship. Ladies and gentlemen, he announced, I am about to become the very first mayor on the moon. He whispered to his nephew Harold, who was in charge of the launch. Quick, I want to lift off before the Paw Patrol gets here and stops my foolproof plan. Just then, Harold accidentally launched the rocket. Excuse me, to be the first mayor on the moon, shouldn't I be in that rocket? Said Mayor Humdinger. But the rocket wasn't going to the moon. It was headed right for a meteor. The rocket bumped into the meteor and sent it straight down to Earth. Meanwhile, Everest and Jake were stargazing. They saw the meteor coming toward Adventure Bay. Better call Ryder, said Jake. Ryder, come in, said Everest. There's a meteor headed this way. Uh-oh, we have to get everyone to safety, said Ryder. Ryder split the pups into two groups. He led one group and Chase headed the other. Chase hoped he would be a good leader.
Attention, Adventure Bay,
said Chase through his bullhorn.
a meteor is headed toward us.
The Paw Patrol cleared the streets just before the meteor crashed. While investigating the meteorite, the Paw Patrol pups were zapped with a strange energy. Suddenly, they had superpowers. Chase was super fast. Rubble was super strong. Skye could fly without wings. Everest could breathe ice. And Marshall could create amazing heat. Zuma's paws could shoot jets of water. And Rocky could make glowing super tools. Wow, I'm going to call you Mighty Pups. But it wasn't just the pups who had powers. Harold could make anything he wanted just by moving his hands. He made himself some rocket shoes and zoomed to Mayor Humdinger's lair.
That meteorite can make me Super Mayor.
Mayor Humdinger snickered. Harold used his mighty powers to build a super vehicle. They used it to take the meteorite from City Hall. Mayor Goodway quickly called the Paw Patrol. The Mighty Pups got super pup outfits and then caught up with Mayor Humdinger and Harold. The mayor panicked and escaped the vehicle through a trap door, but Harold continued on his mischievous mission. Using his new meteorite powers, he captured Ryder in his Ryder Hider and then created a giant robot to stop the Mighty Pups. Chase had to take the lead.
Zuma, make a mini lake in front of him. And Everest, some ice would be nice.
The robot slid on the icy lake and totally wiped out. But then, the robot got back up.
A little fall won't stop my pup rounder-upper, said Harold. Super rocket thrusters coming up.
The robot became rocket-powered. Using its rockets, the robot quickly caught all the Mighty Pups, except Chase.
What would Ryder do?
Chase asked himself.
Ryder says a good leader never gives up, so neither will I. Mighty Pups, I have a plan,
said Chase.
Mighty Marshall, it's time to go hot dog on these nets.
Super idea, Team Leader Chase, said Marshall as his paws began to glow red hot. He melted the nets, freeing the pups. Harold piloted his robot to go after Team Leader Chase.
I've got you this time,
said Harold, but his helmet fell down over his eyes. Oops! The robot lurched to the lookout and wrapped its arms and legs around it. Its rockets fired and the lookout took off, with Ryder trapped inside.
We've got to catch that rocket ship, or we may never see Ryder again,
yelped Chase. He quickly formed a plan. Mighty Rocky created an energy tool belt that all the pups could fit inside, and Mighty Skye flew them to the lookout. Inside the lookout, Ryder knew the Mighty Pups had to get to the meteorite to stop the runaway robot, and he knew just how to help them. The pups saw something shining on the robot's backpack.
It's the Paw Patrol signal,
said Mighty Skye. Chase knew what it meant.
It's Ryder,
he exclaimed.
He's showing us that the meteor is in the robot's backpack. Let's get that meteorite,
said Chase.
Rubble, can you reach it?
It might be a stretch, Rubble said, but I'll give it a double Rubble effort. The powerful pup swung up to the backpack and opened it with his claw arm. Then, Mighty Rocky used his super vac to suck up the meteorite.
Got it,
said Mighty Rocky. Without the meteorite, the robot suddenly lost power and the lookout began to fall. Chase needed a powerful whirlwind to slow it down.
On it,
said Mighty Skye as she created super strong spinning wind. The wind slowed the lookout, but it was still falling. Chase used his super speed to make the whirlwind even stronger. He ran faster and faster until the lookout finally slowed and landed right where it belonged. The meteorite stopped glowing. The robot had drained its energy, and the mighty pups lost their mighty powers. But they had saved the lookout and Ryder. "You all did a great job, pups," said Ryder. "Especially you, team leader Chase." "Thank you for saving Adventure Bay," said Mayor Goodway. "Whenever there's mighty trouble," said Ryder, "just yelp for help." The end. Hi everyone! Today we've got a collection of stories about the Paw Patrol. This book has not 1, not 2, but 9 stories in it, featuring Skye, Rocky, Zuma, Rubble, Marshall, and the rest. So come on up to the lookout for some Paw Patrol 5-minute stories. Marshall to the rescue. It was an exciting day at the lookout. A flock of geese was stopping overnight to rest. Rocky built a big nest for the birds to sleep in. Rubble used his shovel to fill the nest with bread for them to eat. Marshall was so excited he accidentally tumbled into the nest. "The geese are coming!" he shouted. The geese flew in and landed, honking happily. Honk, honk! They started pecking at the pieces of bread right away. One tired goose settled down into the nest to relax. "She likes your nest, Rocky," Ryder said, patting the pup on the head. Rocky smiled, proud of his good work. But a baby goose wandered away from the rest of the flock. He waddled into a blue bucket and rolled down the hill. "I'll get him," Marshall announced, racing after the bucket. But as he ran, his feet got tangled up. Marshall and the little gosling ended up bouncing down the hill. When they reached the bottom, they were both a little dizzy. The gosling's eyes rolled around. "Are you okay, fuzzy little guy?" Marshall asked. "Cheep, cheep," the goose replied with a nod. "Hey," Marshall exclaimed, "Fuzzy is a great name for you." He nudged the gosling with his nose. "Back to your family, Fuzzy." Marshall took Fuzzy back up the hill to the lookout. "Nice work, Marshall," Ryder said. Marshall introduced the little goose to the rest of the Paw Patrol. Fuzzy liked all the pups, but Marshall was definitely his favorite. Skye chuckled. "Marshall, it looks like you have a new BGFF, best goose friend forever." All the pups laughed. For the rest of the day, the two friends did everything together. The little goose followed Marshall everywhere he went. When Marshall washed his fire truck, Fuzzy polished the window with his tail feathers. Until Marshall accidentally washed the little goose with his hose. "Oops," Marshall said. "Sorry, Fuzzy." That evening, Marshall walked back to the nest with Fuzzy on his head. "Okay, Fuzzy," he said, bending so Fuzzy could hop off. "Time to hit the hay, or nest." Fuzzy jumped up and down on Marshall's head. "Cheep, cheep." He didn't want his new friend to leave. "I suppose I could sleep out here," Marshall said, "but just this once." He curled up, and soon they were both asleep. First thing the next morning, while Marshall was still asleep, Fuzzy wandered off looking for food. He was hungry. When Marshall woke up, he looked around for his friend. No Fuzzy. He called his name, but the goose didn't answer. Marshall ran to Ryder. "Fuzzy is gone," he said. "We have to find him before his flock leaves." Ryder called the Paw Patrol to the lookout. "Our goose friends have to fly south for the winter," he explained. "But they're missing one little goose. If we don't find Fuzzy fast, they'll have to leave without him. Chase, I need you to call Fuzzy with your megaphone. Marshall, Fuzzy would follow you anywhere. I need you to help look for him too. Outside the lookout, Chase broadcast a goose honk through his megaphone, but Fuzzy didn't answer. Marshall sniffed the ground, searching for clues. He found one of Fuzzy's feathers. Ryder picked it up and Chase took a whiff. Achoo! Chase sneezed. Sorry, I'm a little allergic to feathers. He took a few more sniffs, sneezed, and announced, He went that-a-way. Marshall, Chase, and Ryder jumped into their vehicles and raced across Adventure Bay. Their sirens blared as they followed Fuzzy's feather trail. This was an emergency. Suddenly, Marshall heard chirping. Fuzzy was on the roof of the train station. He had a piece of bread in his beak, and 2 seagulls were trying to steal it. Fuzzy, fly down here, Marshall called. He can't, Ryder said. A plastic soda can ring is wrapped around his wing. Marshall, use your ladder to help get Fuzzy down. Marshall extended the ladder on his fire truck, which scared away the seagulls. He climbed up the ladder, but Fuzzy slipped on the edge of the roof and fell off. Use your helmet, Ryder cried. Marshall caught Fuzzy in his fire helmet. Sweet catch, Marshall, Ryder cheered. Now let's get this off you, Ryder said, carefully pulling the plastic ring from Fuzzy. He was free again. The gosling flapped his wings, flew into the air, and landed on Marshall's head. Marshall laughed. The Paw Patrol raced back to the lookout. They had to get there before Fuzzy's flock flew away. But they were too late. The geese had just left. Fuzzy would have to flap fast to catch up to them. Fuzzy didn't want to go, and Marshall didn't want him to leave either. A little gosling belongs with his family, Ryder said. Marshall agreed, and Ryder quickly came up with a plan to return Fuzzy to his flock. Let's take to the sky, Skye exclaimed as her helicopter rose into the air, lifting Marshall in a harness. Cheep, cheep! Fuzzy flapped his wings and followed Marshall through the sky. Soon they caught up with the flock of geese. Goodbye, Fuzzy, Marshall called as Fuzzy joined the flock. Have a safe flight, you silly goose. Back at the lookout, the pups played jump rope. You guys did an awesome job today, Ryder said. What a bunch of good pups. Marshall missed Fuzzy, but he knew his little friend would visit whenever his family flew overhead. Until then, Marshall had his possum pup pals to keep him company. The end. High-flying Skye. Skye was flying high over the lookout. She was really excited because her hero, stunt pilot Ace Sorensen, was coming to the air show in Adventure Bay. Trick flying is the best, she exclaimed. Down on the ground, Marshall wasn't sure he agreed. The only things I like to fly are kites, he said. Ryder got a call on his pup pad. It was Ace Sorensen, the stunt pilot. Her plane was having engine trouble, and she needed the Paw Patrol's help in finding a place to land. We're on it, Ryder declared. No job is too big, no pup is too small. Ryder called the pups to the lookout and told them about Ace. He needed Skye's helicopter and night vision goggles. This pup's gotta fly, Skye shouted, eager to help her hero. Ryder also needed Chase to make a runway with his spotlight and traffic cones. Chase is on the case, he barked. Finally, Ryder asked Rocky to help fix Ace's plane. Green means go, Rocky cheered. The sun was setting as Skye zoomed through the clouds in her helicopter. She scanned the sky with her night vision goggles and spotted Ace's airplane. There she is now! Black smoke poured out of the plane's engine, making it hard for Ace to see. Skye flew in front of her. Follow me, she called, leading the way to Farmer Yumi's farm. At the farm, Ryder, Chase, and Rocky prepared a runway for Ace to land on. Chase set up his orange safety cones to mark off the landing strip. "Great job, Chase," Ryder said, "but Ace will need to see this runway in the dark." "Rocky, do you have any old flashlights in your truck?" Ryder asked. "I've got a bunch," Rocky said. He taped the flashlights to the cones with Ryder's help. Ryder called Skye on his pup pad. "Watch for the runway lights." "Roger that," Skye answered. Skye zoomed through the night and spotted the glowing landing strip. But when she and Ace started to fly down toward it, they heard a loud boom. Ace's plane shook. Sparks sizzled along the wing. "I'll have to parachute out," Ace radioed to the team. But Ryder thought parachuting in the dark was too dangerous. "Ace, have you ever done the wing walking stunt?" he asked. "Ace is the greatest wing walker in the whole world," Skye reported. "Awesome," Ryder exclaimed. He told Skye to lower her tow line and safety harness. Ace climbed onto the wing. Skye lowered her safety harness, but Ace couldn't reach it. "I'm going to jump with my parachute," Ace called. "No, we can do this," Skye insisted. She flew as close to Ace as she could, and the stunt pilot grabbed the harness. As Skye flew her to the farm, Ace called Ryder. "Could you check on Amelia?" "Sure," Ryder said. "But who's Amelia?" "My plane," Ace answered. Ryder tracked the plane on his pup pad and saw that it was heading for the bay. "Let's get Amelia before she sinks." Skye gently set Ace down at the farm. "Thanks, Skye," Ace called. "No problem, Ace," the pilot pup called back. To herself, she whispered, "I can't believe I saved my hero." At the bay, Amelia landed in the water. Splash! Ryder rowed out to the plane and hooked a cable to it. "Chase, let's get Amelia to the beach before she sinks." "I'm on it," Chase called. He turned on his winch and pulled the plane to shore. "Amelia's in pretty rough shape," Ace said when she saw her plane. "I don't think she'll be ready for the air show tomorrow. That would take a whole team of mechanics." "Teammates reporting for duty," Rocky said. The Paw Patrol used all their tools to fix Amelia in no time. "Wow," Ace said. "She's as good as the first day we flew together. Thanks, team." The pups barked and howled. "Whenever you need a paw, just yelp for help," Ryder said, laughing. "I can't wait for the air show tomorrow," Skye said. Ace hopped onto one of the wings. "How would you like to see my wing walk and roll trick up close and personal?" Skye thought that sounded great. The next day was sunny and warm. The Paw Patrol watched the air show from the beach. Except Skye. She got to watch from the back seat of Ace's plane. While she worked the controls, Ace did her amazing wing walk and roll trick. "Way to go, Ace!" Ryder shouted. "Wow!" Rocky gasped, watching Skye zoom through the clouds. "She's so good!" "You're all good pups," Ryder said. The pups cheered and barked for each other as Skye and Ace zipped overhead. The end. Gold Rush Pups. One sunny day, Rubble was digging for gold with Mayor Goodway and her Uncle Otis. Uncle Otis's old shovel broke, and the bottom fell out of the pan he used to strain for gold. Rubble and Mayor Goodway knew just who to call for help: the Paw Patrol. Ryder, Chase, and Rocky zoomed to the rescue. "We've brought the perfect tools," Rocky said. There was a shovel for Uncle Otis and some old strainers everyone could use to pan for gold. They all went to work beside the river. Pecking at the ground, Chickaletta found a shiny nugget. "Look," Ryder cried, "gold!" They started digging near the spot where the chicken had found the nugget. Soon, Ryder and Chase had struck gold too. In no time at all, they had a big pile of glittering gold. Since Chickaletta had found the first gold nugget, Mayor Goodway decided to make a big golden statue of her feathery friend. "Good idea," Ryder exclaimed. Come on, pups. The more gold we find, the bigger the statue of Chickaletta. In a nearby tree, Mayor Humdinger from Foggy Bottom was spying on the pups and their friends.
That gold is mine because, I want it, he growled.
Mayor Humdinger planned to make a golden statue of himself. He radioed his catastrophe crew.
Kittens, it's catastrophe time.
Mayor Humdinger joined Ryder and the pup prospectors. The mean mayor snuck something into his strainer while the others searched for gold.
What's this? He said, pretending to be surprised. A diamond!
Everyone was amazed by the mayor's discovery. While Ryder, Mayor Goodway, Chickaletta, and the pups studied the diamond, Mayor Humdinger's kittens went to work. Behind the others' backs, the catastrophe crew loaded all the gold nuggets onto a cart.
Let me take a look at that diamond,
Uncle Otis asked. Mayor Goodway handed the sparkling jewel to him. He peered at it closely.
This is no diamond, he announced. It's just rock candy.
The friends turned around just in time to see Mayor Humdinger driving off with all the gold. Ryder and the pups jumped on their vehicles to chase Mayor Humdinger. The Paw Patrol was on the roll. But the thief was already out of sight. "Chase, we need your drone!" Ryder exclaimed. Chase hit a button, launching his drone into the air. It flew high enough to track Mayor Humdinger and his kittens. The gold snatchers raced up the mountain to their secret hideout.
Home sweet home, kitties,
Mayor Humdinger announced.
They'll never find us in here. Hurry inside, and don't forget the gold.
They all ran into their hidden cave, but no one pulled the gold inside. Each of the kittens thought the other had brought it in. Chase's drone led Ryder and the pups straight to Humdinger's hideout.
"There's the gold," Chase said. "Looks like they left it behind."
"Rocky, unhook that wagon," Ryder said.
"You got it,"
exclaimed Rocky, heading for the wagon full of gold. Ryder had a plan to stop the sneaky kittens from following them. "Let it go, Rubble," he shouted. Rubble used his bulldozer to push a big boulder in front of the hideout's door. Whoomp! Mayor Humdinger and his catastrophe crew were temporarily trapped.
"No!"
Mayor Humdinger cried as Ryder and the pups drove away with the wagon full of gold.
"I deserve to be a statue."
A few days later in Adventure Bay, Mayor Goodway unveiled a giant golden statue of Chickaletta. Ryder, Uncle Otis, and all the pups laughed when the little chicken perched on top. "She loves it!" Mayor Goodway exclaimed. Everyone cheered for Chickaletta. The end. Pup-Fu Power. In Farmer Yumi's barn, the Paw Patrol pups, Mayor Goodway and Chickaletta practiced their Pup-Fu moves. Rubble flew through the air and kicked a board in half. "Strong kick, Rubble," Ryder cheered. "Thanks, Ryder," Rubble said. "The pups have been working very hard," Farmer Yumi told Ryder. "They're ready to test for their yellow belts." "Students, begin," Farmer Yumi said to the Paw Patrol. The pups bowed to their teacher, then showed off their moves one by one. "Arf, arf!" Marshall barked as he spun on his tail, holding his paws out, ready for action. Rocky used the grabber in his backpack to hold a staff. He twirled it, then planted it on the floor of the barn and vaulted over it. "Ruff! Ha!" Rocky cried as he struck a martial arts position. Skye stood still for a moment, then flipped high into the air. As she turned a somersault, she kicked out in both directions. She landed on all fours.
"Yip, yip, ha!"
Skye yelped as she kicked her paws straight out.
Zuma raised himself up on his back paws and held his front paws out. He moved slowly and smoothly to the left. Then he moved slowly and smoothly to the right. Zuma was in complete control and ready for action. On the floor, Rubble rolled to his left and kicked with his back leg. Hee-yah! He rolled to his right and kicked with his other back leg. Hee-yah! Finally, Rubble kicked with both legs. Hee-yah! Chase announced, "And now I will, chew!" Farmer Yumi looked concerned. "Sorry," Chase explained. "I'm a little allergic to kittens?" He noticed a kitten standing next to him. Achoo! Chase sneezed so hard his headband flew off and landed on his nose. Mayor Humdinger walked into the barn with the rest of his Kit-tastrophe crew. "My kittens will get their yellow belts before the Paw Patrol," he bragged, "because their cat jitsu is better than Pup-Fu." "It's not about which art is superior," Mayor Goodway said. "The point is for all pups, kittens, mayors, and chickens to do their best." "Show them, kittens," Mayor Humdinger said, clapping his hands. The Kit-tastrophe crew lined up. One by one, the kittens sprang into action. They jumped, they kicked, they twirled, they even balanced on a ball of yarn. High in the rafters of the barn, one kitten set up a cable to slide down. Marshall got there before the kitten. "I'll show you how a Pup-Fu master uses the zip line," he said. He jumped up, grabbed the cord, and slid down it. Whee! But when Marshall was halfway down, the kitten used its mechanical claw to tug on the zip line. The line shook and Marshall went flying. Whoa! Thump! Marshall fell to the barn floor. "Are you okay?" Rubble asked. "Sure," Marshall answered. "A Pup-Fu master always knows exactly how to land when he accidentally falls." "Next, we will have the sparring part of our yellow belt test," Farmer Yumi said. "Begin." The pups and kittens began to spar. Marshall sprang over a kitten. Then he jumped back the other way, turning a somersault in midair. The kitten launched a ball of yarn from her backpack, aiming it right at Marshall. "Whoa!" he yelped as he fell to the floor. His legs were tangled in the yarn. "Pup-Fu?" Mayor Humdinger snickered. "That looks more like Pup-Fail." Farmer Yumi gave each pup a yellow belt. "Your extra hard work would please the ancient masters," she said. But there were no belts for the kittens. "Mayor Humdinger," Farmer Yumi said, "until your kittens learn to control themselves and their tools, I'm afraid they cannot earn their yellow belts." "Hooray for the Paw Patrol!" Ryder cheered. They were all good pups, and they were all very good sports. The end. Pup and away. It was the day of the annual Mayor's Balloon Race, and Mayor Goodway was nervous. "Why did I ever agree to a balloon race?" she said, shaking her head. "I have to get over my fear of heights." "Don't worry, I'll be in the balloon to help you," Ryder said. He turned to Chase and Rubble. "Ready to unroll the balloon?" "We're ready," Rubble said. Rubble and Chase unrolled the balloon, pushing it with their noses. "It sure is dusty," Chase said. Then he noticed something. "Uh-oh," he said. "The balloon's got achoo!" When he was done sneezing from the dust, Chase continued. "A rip! This balloon can't hold air!" Mayor Goodway groaned. "Mayor Humdinger from Foggy Bottom will win again!" "Don't worry," Ryder said. "We'll get this balloon ready for the race. No job is too big, no pup is too small." Ryder pulled out his pup pad and called the rest of the Paw Patrol. The other members of the Paw Patrol jumped into their vehicles and raced to the town square with their sirens blaring. Rocky inspected the tear in the balloon. I've got a perfect patch in my truck."
How does the gas tank look, Marshall? Ryder asked.
The big question is, how does it smell? Marshall replied. He sniffed. I don't smell any gas leak.
Rocky glued a piece of Zuma's old surf kite over the hole. "Good work," Ryder exclaimed. "That patch is a perfect fit." Ryder pulled the lever a little bit and the balloon slowly filled with hot air. It rose above the basket that Mayor Goodway and Ryder would ride in. The other balloons were gathering nearby. The race was about to begin. "Time to win this race!" Mayor Goodway shouted. She pumped her fist and accidentally hit the heater lever, flipping it all the way open. The balloon started to fly away. Marshall grabbed onto a rope dangling from the balloon and was lifted high into the air. "Uh-oh," he said. The rope slipped out of his mouth and he fell. Marshall landed right in Ryder's arms. "Nice catch, Ryder." The pup gave Ryder a grateful lick. Slurp. The race had started, so there was no time to waste. Ryder called Skye on his pup pad. "Mayor Goodway took off without me. I need you to fly me to her balloon in your copter." Skye slid down the lookout's twisting slide into her pup house. She pressed a button and it turned into her helicopter. "Let's take to the sky," she shouted happily. Skye zoomed into the air and flew to pick up Ryder. Ryder snapped the harness he was wearing onto Skye's tow line. She lifted him up. "I'll swing you over to the balloon," Skye told him. But she had to hurry because the balloon was headed straight for the lighthouse on Seal Island. Ryder sailed through the air, reached out, and caught the basket. Mayor Goodway helped Ryder climb into the balloon. He quickly gave it a burst of hot air, and it rose over the lighthouse. "All right, Mayor Goodway," he said. "Are you ready to win this race?" The mayor gave Ryder a thumbs up. "I'm in it to win it." They raced after the other balloons. As Ryder worked the controls, the balloon quickly caught up with Mayor Humdinger, who was in the lead. "The race is on," Ryder yelled. "I've never lost a race, and I'm not starting now," Mayor Humdinger shouted, shaking his fist angrily. With a rush of hot air, Ryder and Mayor Goodway's balloon whooshed past Mayor Humdinger. "Don't worry," Mayor Goodway called as she waved. "We'll wait for you. At the finish line." She spotted Jake's mountain. "The finish line is on the other side," she said. "The winds are stronger up high," Ryder said. "We'll have a better chance of winning if we go up. What do you say?" "Up, up, and away!" Mayor Goodway cheered. Ryder guided the balloon higher and rode the rushing winds over Jake's mountain. But so did Mayor Humdinger. His balloon zipped right past Ryder and Mayor Goodway. Down on the ground, the Paw Patrol pups cheered as the balloons came into view. Mayor Humdinger's balloon swooped out of the sky first, but Mayor Goodway and Ryder dropped ahead of him at the last second. They snapped through the red finish line ribbon and won the race. Mayor Humdinger reluctantly handed the trophy over to Mayor Goodway. "I believe this trophy belongs to you this year." Mayor Goodway gave the trophy to Ryder. "This belongs to Ryder and the Paw Patrol," she said. "Thanks, Mayor Goodway," Ryder said with a big smile. "Whenever you need a hand, just yelp for help." The end. Chase's space case. One starry night, Ryder, Skye, and Rocky were gazing up at the sky. "A star is falling," Skye said. Ryder checked with his binoculars. That doesn't look like a star to me," he said. "It seems to be some kind of spaceship." "Cool," Rocky and Skye said. "And it's headed for Adventure Bay," Ryder said. Crash! The spaceship slammed into Farmer Yumi's barn. Strange glowing rings came out of the spaceship and they formed a big green bubble around Farmer Yumi's cow, Bettina. The bubble lifted Bettina into the air. Moo! Mayor Goodway was at a square dance in Farmer Yumi's barn. When she came out of the barn, she saw Bettina trapped in the floating bubble. She called Ryder right away.
Can you help poor Bettina and find out what's going on here?
We're on it, Mayor Goodway, Ryder promised. No job is too big, no pup is too small. Ryder called the other members of the Paw Patrol and told them about Bettina's problem. They jumped into their vehicles and raced to Farmer Yumi's barn. The shining stars lit their way. "The Paw Patrol is on the roll!" Ryder shouted. When they reached the barn, they saw Bettina still floating in the bubble. "Weird," Chase said. "How does she stay up there?" "I don't know," Ryder said, "but I think this might have something to do with it." He pointed at the crashed spaceship. With the suction cups from Chase's zipline, the pups pulled Bettina out of the green bubble. "Chase, I need you to use your spy gear to find the pilot of that spaceship," Ryder said. "Yes, sir, Ryder, sir," Chase said. "Night vision goggles." Green goggles slid down from Chase's helmet to cover his eyes and help him see in the dark. He sniffed the ground, searching for the missing pilot. Chase didn't find the pilot. He found Mayor Goodway and Chickaletta trapped in a floating bubble. "How did you two get up there?" he cried. "A little green space alien beamed us up," Mayor Goodway explained. Chase used the net in his backpack to pull the mayor and Chickaletta out of the green bubble. Then he continued his search for the little green space alien. Chase found something. "A round green head." He looked closer. "Oops, it's just a melon." He looked around and saw that he was in a field of melons. He walked down one row. Melon, melon, space alien, melon. Wait, space alien? The little alien looked scared. "Ba-ba-bee, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba," he said. "Sorry," said Chase, "but I don't understand what you're saying." The alien pointed at Chase, and yellow rings came out of his finger. A green bubble formed around the pup and lifted him up. "Whoa!" Chase yelped. The little green alien ran off, leaving Chase trapped in the floating bubble. Chase tried to push his way out of the bubble, but he was stuck. "Help! Help! Anybody?" he called. He got an idea. "If I can pull Bettina and the mayor free, I can pull myself out too. Zip line!" The zip line shot out of his backpack and attached itself to two trees. Chase slid down the line and out of the bubble. The alien made his way to the lookout, which looked like a spaceship to him. Ryder and the pups found the alien trying to fly the lookout. He wanted to go home to his mom. Ryder pulled out his pup pad and made a call. "Rocky, how's it going with fixing that spaceship? Are you close?" "Yes," Rocky said. "Look out the window." Ryder, the pups, and the alien all ran to the window and saw Rocky flying the spaceship. He had fixed it with some old parts he'd found in his truck. A pink coat hanger made a fine antenna. A bicycle wheel worked as part of the landing gear. "Don't lose it, reuse it," Rocky said. The alien hopped up and down happily. "Ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba." Ryder kneeled and said to the alien, "Whenever you're in trouble, just yelp or beep 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 for help. Come on." He led the way into the spaceship. The happy little alien flew his new spaceship with Rocky and Ryder in it. Then he beamed the rest of the Paw Patrol aboard. "We're flying in a spaceship," Skye said. "Sweet!" "Awesome!" the others agreed. As they flew over Adventure Bay, they waved to Mayor Goodway and Chickaletta. "Coolest ride ever," Ryder said. The little green alien beamed the pups and Ryder onto the field in front of the lookout. As the alien flew back to his home planet and his family, Ryder and the Paw Patrol waved goodbye to their new friend. The end. King for a Day. "Fear not, fair princess," Marshall cried. "The pups of the Round Table will save thee." The pups were practicing their play about knights. Chase was King Arthur, and the other pups were his brave knights. "Our play will be knight-tastic," Marshall declared. In Adventure Bay's town square, Captain Turbot was building the set for the play. The set looked like a castle. "Castle construction is close to completion," Captain Turbot announced. "Just one last nail." But when he swung his hammer, he missed. Instead of hitting the nail, he hit the castle wall, and the set collapsed. A big piece of the castle fell right on top of Captain Turbot. "I'm stuck," he cried. He reached for his phone and called the Paw Patrol for help. "Don't worry, Captain Turbot," Ryder said. "No job is too big, no pup is too small." The Paw Patrol raced to the town square. "How are you, Captain Turbot?" Marshall asked. "Super, but stuck," he said, "and my arm smarts a smidge." "We'll have you out in no time," Ryder promised. "Rubble, use your claw hook to lift the wall." "On the double," Rubble said. Rubble backed his truck up to the wall and lifted it away from Captain Turbot. But there was still another piece of scenery trapping him. Chase used the winch on his vehicle to pull the doorway off Captain Turbot. He was free. "Thanks, Paw Patrol," Captain Turbot said as he stood and brushed himself off. "Okay, Captain Turbot," Marshall said. "I need to do a medical exam. X-ray machine." The machine popped out of Marshall's pack. He used it to scan Captain Turbot's bones. Marshall said. "Looks like it's only a sprain. I'll wrap it up." A bandage popped out of Marshall's pack. He wrapped the bandage around Captain Turbot's wrist. Captain Turbot needed to rest his arm, so it was up to the Paw Patrol to finish building the castle for their play. "Okay, my pups of the round table," Chase commanded through his megaphone. "Moveth!" Skye used her helicopter and a towing cable to fly a wall to the set. She placed it in the middle of the stage. Rocky popped a tool arm out of his pack. Zzz! He used the power screwdriver to spin screws through a hinge and into the wooden door. He tested the door to make sure it could easily open and close. "This castle door is ready," he announced. Marshall held a paintbrush in his mouth and dipped it into a can of purple paint. He carefully spread the paint on the wall. Ryder worked on the other side of the doorway. Together, they finished painting the castle in a flash. Soon, the castle was ready. The pups felt so proud they all howled and barked. Except Chase. He didn't bark. He coughed. Marshall took his temperature. "Uh-oh, you've got a fever. You need lots of rest and liquids." But who would play King Arthur in the play? Marshall. He knew all the lines. And the crown fit him. It was time to start the entertainment, and the last of the audience arrived just before the play began. Callie the kitten was a princess stuck high in a tower. The pup who pulled the bone from the stone would become king and save the princess. "Behold, the bone!" Rubble said. Rocky said, licking his lips. "It looketh delicious." Marshall entered. "Fear not, fair princess." He jumped over the bone and took it in his teeth. Then he struggled to pull it out of the stone. Whoop! When the bone came free, it flew out of Marshall's mouth and hit the tower. The tower toppled over and Callie fell. The audience gasped. Thankfully, Marshall caught Callie, and he remembered to say his line, "You are free, fair princess." The audience cheered. Marshall was doing an excellent job. Lady Skye popped the wings out of her pack and flew over Marshall. "Heads up," she said as she dropped a golden crown right onto his head. It was a perfect fit. "All hail King Arthur!" the pups cried, kneeling in front of Marshall. The curtain closed. When it opened again, the pups took a bow. The audience cheered again. "Great job, all of you," Ryder said. "You're such good pups." The king had saved the day, and Marshall had saved the play. The end. Pit Crew Pups. Alex was a friend of the Paw Patrol. He called to his grandfather. "Hey, Grandpa, check out what I made from old stuff from your restaurant, a super track." "Very nice," Grandpa said. "Look," Alex said, "I made a brake out of a pizza paddle." "And you used lots of duct tape," Grandpa said. "Just like you taught me."
Alex said.
Watch this, Grandpa,
Alex said.
I'm going to go super fast on my super trike.
First, he tightened his helmet. Then, he grabbed the handlebars, ran as fast as he could, jumped in, and pedaled hard.
Woohoo!
He cried as he raced down the sidewalk. But the super trike hit a little bump and flew into the air. Whoomp! When the bike landed, it fell apart.
My super trike!
Alex wailed. Parts flew everywhere. Some even rolled into the street.
Now I have to put it all back together again,
Alex said sadly. I know who can help you, Grandpa said. Grandpa called Ryder. Hello, Ryder said. Ryder here. Hi, Ryder, Grandpa said. I have a bit of an emergency. He explained what happened to Alex's bike. I know you're pretty handy with gadgets and vehicles. Tell him we're on our way, Ryder said. No job is too big, no pup is too small. Ryder called the Paw Patrol. They jumped into their vehicles and zoomed across the bridge to town. Vroom! Ryder led the way on his four-wheeler. Chase drove his customized squad car. Rocky followed in his repair truck, and Skye flew overhead in her helicopter. Let's secure the work zone, Chase said. In the street, he put orange cones around the scattered parts of Alex's super trike. Next, he spoke to the drivers through his megaphone. Please find an alternate route. Paw Patrol at work. The cars turned around and drove down a different street. Ryder and Alex picked up the parts.
Can you fix it?
Alex asked. Sure we can, Ryder said. Back at the lookout, Ryder, Rocky, and Chase put the super trike back together. They also added some new parts. And instead of duct tape, they used screws and rivets to fasten the parts together. These will hold better, Rocky said.
But my grandpa fixes everything with duct tape,
Alex said. I think it's done, Ryder announced.
Awesome,
Alex shouted.
Now my super trike can go super fast. Come on, Ryder, let's race.
First we need to test it, and then you need to get used to it, Ryder said. Try riding it slowly. But Alex didn't want to go slowly. He jumped on his super trike and took off, pedaling as hard as he could. Alex, wait, Ryder called. You're going too fast. Alex zoomed down a hill.
Wow, this is fast.
But it was too fast. Alex took his feet off the pedals. Ryder rode up behind him. Slow down, use the brakes.
I can't get my feet back on the pedals,
Alex cried.
They're turning too fast.
Ryder looked ahead and saw that Alex was racing right toward a busy street. Chase, Ryder yelled, secure the traffic.
Chase is on the case,
he called. He took a shortcut down a hill with his lights flashing and his sirens blaring. He pulled into traffic. Please stop, he said to the drivers. Paw Patrol emergency in progress. All the cars stopped. Just then, Alex and Ryder zipped by onto the bridge. Ryder called Skye. I need you in your copter at the bridge.
Let's take to the sky,
she said. Skye flew straight to the bridge. Then she lowered a hook to catch the back of Alex's trike to slow him down. She missed it twice, but on her third try, she did it.
Got him,
she said. The trike stopped. Alex got off and waved up to Skye.
Yay, Skye! Great flying!
That was some pretty good flying, Ryder agreed.
Aw,
Skye said modestly.
It was no biggie.
Are you all right, Alex? Ryder asked.
I'm okay, he said. I just couldn't stop it. My super trike is too super.
The pups joined Ryder and Alex on the bridge.
I'm sorry, Ryder, Alex said. This is all my fault. If I had slowed down like you said, this wouldn't have happened.
That's okay, Alex, Ryder said. But whenever you try something new, you have to start out easy. Alex nodded and smiled.
I know. I just wanted to be like you, Ryder.
You were such good pups today. How about we head to the lemonade stand? Ryder suggested.
Yeah,
Alex cheered, ringing the bell on his super trike.
Let's race on over.
Skye cleared her throat and Chase shook his head.
I mean, roll on over,
Alex said. They all got into their vehicles and rode to the lemonade stand safely. Good work, Alex, Ryder said. You've earned the Paw Patrol Safe Driving Cup. He handed Alex a trophy.
Wowee,
Alex said.
Thanks, Ryder.
You've also won a spoon, Ryder added. Alex looked confused.
A spoon? Why?
Ryder took the top off the trophy. It was full of ice cream. 'Cause it's an ice cream cup.
Yay!
Alex cheered. The end. Rubble's Big Wish. Rocky and Rubble were helping Farmer Al sort through some old stuff in his barn. Rubble dug into a pile of toys. "Hey, a jack-in-the-box," he said. "I'm going to clean it up and play with it." He yawned. "Right after I take a little nap." Rubble curled up next to the toy, and soon he was asleep. He began to dream. The jack-in-the-box started to jump around. Rubble turned the box's handle, and music began to play. And then, a genie popped out of the box. Rubble and Rocky gasped. "Pleased to meet you," the genie said. "I'm Jeremy, the genie. Since you let me out of that box, you get 3 wishes. What would you like?" Rubble said, thinking. "What do I really want? I know! A bone that'll last forever!" Jeremy led Rubble and Rocky outside where there was plenty of room. "Grant this wish to a pup so clever, 1 big bone that'll last forever," the genie chanted. The genie used his magic to make a giant bone appear in the sky. "Wow, my wishbone," Rubble said. The bone hovered in the air for a moment, but then it fell onto the barn. Crash! It was stuck in a big hole in the roof. "I just graduated from genie school," Jeremy admitted, "so I'm new at this." Farmer Al ran out of his barn and stared at the giant bone. "Don't worry, Farmer Al," Rubble said. "We'll get Ryder." Rubble and Rocky ran to the lookout. They told Ryder about the genie and the bone that broke the roof on Farmer Al's barn. "We'll take care of it," Ryder promised. "No wish is too big, no pup is too small." Ryder called the other members of the Paw Patrol and came up with a plan. They all hurried back to the barn. "Rubble," Ryder said, "use your crane to lift the bone off the roof." "Rubble on the double," the pup exclaimed. Rubble lowered his claw to grab the giant bone. Then he raised it out of the hole in the roof. "Good job, Rubble," Ryder shouted. "Okay, Skye," Ryder called. "You can fly Rocky and his supplies up there now."
You got it, Ryder,
Skye answered. She flew her helicopter to the roof, carrying Rocky on a platform. Rocky had some old cupboard doors and shingles with him to repair the hole.
Green means go,
Rocky howled.
Hammer,
Rocky said. His backpack opened and a hammer popped out. He started hammering the old cupboard doors over the hole in the roof. Wow, Jeremy said. I can help with that. Using his genie magic, Jeremy floated the shingles into place. Rocky nailed them down in record time. The roof was fixed. Good as new, Farmer Al said. Thank you, Paw Patrol. Rubble set the giant bone on the ground. He and the other pups ran over to it. Rubble gave it a lick. Yummy, he said. It's so big it'll last forever. I'm happy to share it with my friends. Jeremy told Rubble he still had 2 wishes left. As Rubble thought, he wandered around, not watching where he was going. Sploosh! He slipped and fell into a mud puddle. Yuck, Rubble said. Now I know what I want. I wish for the super bubbliest bubble bath ever. This pup likes it in the tubly. Make it warm and super bubbly, Jeremy chanted. Rubble's bubble bath was so bubbly, one giant bubble formed around the tub and lifted it into the air. I think I'm in bubble trouble, Rubble whimpered. But as he floated along in his bathtub, Rubble started to enjoy himself. This is fun, he said. Rubble saw a row of pine trees up ahead. Pine trees, he said. Oh no! One thing about pines, they sure are prickly. Pop! The prickly pines popped Rubble's big bubble. He fell through the tree and landed on a limb hanging over a river. Rubble called Ryder for help. We're on our way, Ryder said. Ryder put on a harness and Skye lowered him from her helicopter to the pine tree. A little lower, Skye, Ryder called. Hang tight, Rubble. Crack! Just as the tree branch broke and the tub began to fall, Ryder scooped up Rubble. Gotcha, he said. Thanks, Ryder, said Rubble, giving him a big lick. What's your last wish, Rubble? Jeremy asked. I wish I could do something nice for all my friends, Rubble answered. Good pups deserve lots of good eats. Reward these pups with tons of treats, the genie chanted. Kaboom! There was a loud clap of thunder, and then it started to rain puppy treats. Yay! The pups cheered. In the barn, Ryder gently shook Rubble awake. Time to go home. Farmer Al said you were a big help. I'll say, said Farmer Al, you good pups deserve some good treats. He tossed treats to Rubble and Rocky, but Rubble said, No thanks, I ate a bunch from the sky. Ryder looked confused. Are you all right? Barns give me weird dreams, Rubble said, giggling. The end. Paw Patrol: Adventures with Grandpa. One day, Ryder and the Paw Patrol were at Mr. Porter's market and restaurant with their friend Alex. Mr. Porter was Alex's grandpa, or as Alex liked to call him, the best grandpa ever. I have a special treat for all of you today, Mr. Porter announced.
What is it?
Alex asked, jumping up and down excitedly. Chase took a deep whiff with his super sniffer.
My nose knows. It's cherry pie.
And cherry pup treats for the Paw Patrol, said Mr. Porter as he served Alex and the team. I could never forget our favorite pups. He headed back into his restaurant. This is yummy in my tummy, said Rubble, licking his lips. Mr. Porter is such a great baker.
And a great grandpa, too,
Alex added. We should do something nice for him, Zuma suggested. That's a super idea, said Ryder. What do you think he'd like? Alex and the pups thought for a moment.
Well, he likes to cook,
Alex said.
Yeah,
said Skye.
Remember the pizza party in the mountains? But we almost didn't get there,
Alex recalled.
We were bringing the pizza dough to the party when our delivery truck hit a patch of ice. We nearly slid off the road. That's when I zoomed to the rescue with my copter, Skye said, remembering. I lowered the harness, and I buckled in and became Super Alex, he cheered. Then Chase pulled the truck back onto the road with his winch. Mr. Porter was glad the pizza ingredients and the truck were safe, but he was even happier that Alex was safe. Mr. Porter loves helping you do new things, Alex, Rocky said. Remember the time he helped you make your super trike? You guys built the super trike using items from the restaurant, Rocky went on. There was a vegetable crate for a seat and big trays for wheels. Mr. Porter really knows how to reuse and recycle. He taught me everything I know,
Alex said proudly. And your grandpa likes to go hiking with you, Rubble reminded him.
That's true,
Alex said.
We hike in the woods all the time. Once when we were hiking, said Alex, Grandpa sat in a hollow stump and got stuck. It's a good thing we can always count on you pups.
You know it, Zuma said. Whenever you need us, just yelp for help.
Remembering all the wonderful adventures with his grandpa gave Alex an idea.
What if we had a surprise party for my grandpa? He said. Do you think he'd like that?
Yes, Ryder said, and the Paw Patrol can help you do it. Let's roll. Marshall helped Skye make a big banner for the party.
Water cannons ready,
Marshall announced. He used them to squirt paint onto a long sheet. When it was dry, Skye took it to her helicopter. After that, Alex worked with Ryder and the rest of the pups on a very special pizza. "Let's make it pepperoni," said Rubble with a giggle. While the pups drove the food and the decorations to the woods, Alex asked his grandpa to go for a hike. Mr. Porter thought for a moment. "Well, I was just about to close the market and—" Alex grabbed his grandpa's hand.
Great! Let's go!
After they changed into hiking clothes, Alex and his grandpa headed into the forest. "It's great being with you, Alex," Mr. Porter said.
I love all the time we spend together, Grandpa,
Alex said.
That's why I have a surprise for you.
The two rounded a bend and found Ryder and the pups waiting with the party all set up. "Surprise!" they cried. Skye zoomed overhead in her helicopter. Trailing behind it was a big banner. "I love you, Grandpa," the banner said. Mr. Porter was very surprised. He couldn't believe everyone had done this for him. And he was especially surprised by the pizza. It looked like him.
It's Grandpa Face Pizza,
Alex cheered. "Alex, thank you for such a wonderful party," Mr. Porter said. "But you didn't need to do all this. Having you as a grandson is the only gift I need."
You're the best grandpa ever,
Alex said, giving him a big hug. Adventures with the Paw Patrol were great, but Alex couldn't wait for the next adventure with his grandpa. The end. Paw Patrol. Save the school bus. One sunny morning, Mr. Hudson, the school bus driver, was starting his route through Adventure Bay. Suddenly, Mr. Porter's delivery truck spilled a big bunch of bananas. The bananas landed in front of the school bus, sending it sliding and skidding off the road. There were loud popping sounds as the bus rolled over some pointy spikes. All 4 tires on the bus were flat. How could Mr. Hudson pick up the kids and take them to school? He knew he had to alert the Paw Patrol. "Don't worry," Ryder said. "No job is too big, no pup is too small." Ryder called the pups to the Paw Patroller. Inside the Paw Patroller, Ryder told the team about the flat tires. "Rocky, your ratchet and tire patching gear will get that bus rolling again. Marshall, use your water cannons to spray the squished fruit off the street so no one else skids out."
But how will the kids get to school on time?
Chase asked. The bell was going to ring in 10 minutes. Ryder thought for a moment. "We'll just have to use a substitute school bus, the Paw Patroller." The pups cheered as they raced to the scene. Rocky used his forklift to prop up the bus. Then he got to work removing the tires with his ratchet. At the same time, Marshall hosed down the mush on the road with his water cannons. "Wow!" exclaimed Mr. Hudson. "That's one power-washing pup." Meanwhile, Ryder, Chase, and Robo-Dog used the Paw Patroller to pick up the kids and take them to school. At the first stop was a boy named Alex.
This isn't a school bus, it's a cool bus,
he exclaimed as he got on. Next, they picked up Julius and Julia.
Come aboard the temporary bus,
Chase announced over his loudspeaker.
The brother and sister hurried inside and took seats. Then they came to a stop where a little girl stood with Mayor Goodway and her pet chicken, Chickaletta. "Oh, look! A new school bus!" the mayor exclaimed as the girl climbed aboard. Chickaletta was so excited that she dropped her ear of corn and it rolled away. She ran after it. Ryder, Robodog, and Chase followed her. The older kids explored the Paw Patroller. Alex climbed into Chase's police truck, Julius pretended to steer Zuma's hovercraft, and Julia sat in Rubble's rig. Ryder, Chase, and Robodog finally returned with Chickaletta, who had retrieved her ear of corn. Chickaletta started to peck at the Paw Patroller's control panel. Then they heard a rumbling noise. One by one, the pups' vehicles were rolled out onto the road, with the kids inside. Chickaletta had pressed the launch button with her beak. "Whoa!" yelled Alex. "Whee!" screamed Julia. "Woohoo!" whooped Julius. "No, Chickaletta," said Ryder. But the poor chicken was so startled that she flew straight up, landed in Skye's helicopter, and pecked the control panel there too. The copter's engine started and away the chicken flew. Ryder quickly called the other pups at the lookout. "Team," he said, "our school bus rescue has taken a detour. The kids are out riding in your vehicles. We need to get them back." Skye popped open the wings on her pup pack and zoomed up to the chicken flying in her copter. "Looks like you need a co-pilot," she said, slipping into the seat next to Chickaletta. Skye grabbed the controller and safely steered the chopper and its pecking passenger toward home. Back on the ground, Rubble raced toward his rig on his skateboard. With a few fancy moves, he flipped himself inside the digger next to Julia. He pressed the brake, barely avoiding a crash with Mr. Porter's fruit stand. Out on the water, Julius was speeding toward Captain Turbot's boat in the hovercraft. Zuma zoomed up to the hovercraft on a kite-powered surfboard and leaped behind the wheel. The hovercraft turned, missing the boat at the last second. Meanwhile, Ryder and Chase caught up to Alex. "Time to pull over," the pup barked. But Alex didn't know how. Ryder instructed Chase to shoot a net from his pup pack. The net sailed through the air and stretched between two trees, catching the patrol truck like a soccer ball. "Goal!" Ryder and Chase shouted, high-fiving each other. Everyone rushed back to the Paw Patroller. If they hurried, they could still get the kids to school on time. But then, the Paw Patroller's door opened and the little girl threw out a bouncy ball. Robodog chased it while the girl started up the giant vehicle. The Paw Patroller rolled down the street. Ryder sprang into action. "Skye, get your copter back in the air and lower the harness," he said. Once Ryder had strapped himself into the harness, Skye flew over the Paw Patroller. Ryder dropped down through the roof and ran to the front. He reached for the controls and brought the vehicle to a stop in front of the school, just as the other pups pulled up. The bell rang. The kids waved goodbye and ran inside as the school bus rumbled up the street and screeched to a halt. Rocky had fixed the tires and the bus was as good as new. "Did you just get here?" he asked his teammates with a giggle. "What took you so long?" The end. Hi, thanks for coming to see me. It's another great day for a story. Today we'll read a Paw Patrol story called Jurassic Bark. When the pups find dinosaurs in Adventure Bay, it's up to them to save the town and the dinosaurs. Let's get started. Paw Patrol, Jurassic Bark. It was an exciting day for the Paw Patrol. They were going on a hunt for dinosaur bones. "Are you pup paleontologists primed for a big dino dig?" asked Captain Turbot. "I'm ready to shovel," said Rubble. We want to find fossils, bones that are so old they're hard as rocks, Ryder said. The Paw Patroller rolled up to the dig site and the pups went to work. While Chase placed traffic cones to keep the work area safe, Rubble used his shovel to dig. "Whoa, my shovel hit something!" exclaimed Rubble. Captain Turbot was amazed at what Rubble had found.
These are 1,000,000,000 times better than dino bones. They're dino eggs.
"Way to dig, Rubble," said Ryder. Marshall used his X-ray to look inside the eggs.
You definitely made a dandy discovery for the museum's diorama, said Captain Turbot.
Later, the pups tried to guess what was inside the eggs. "I bet they're pterodactyls," said Marshall.
Or puppadactyls,
added Skye. But Rubble was tired from his big day of digging. "Time for a prehistoric nap," he said, and his head filled with dinosaurs as he began to dream. Dinosaurs were everywhere in Adventure Bay. A mother pterodactyl built a nest for her 3 eggs, but one rolled out and landed in a tree. A triceratops and her child wandered the hills. And a giant Utah raptor ate Mayor Goodway's lunch. Rubble was about to rescue the pterodactyl egg in the tree when suddenly it hatched. The other eggs in the nest hatched too. 3 small flying dinos zoomed into the air. Rubble had no time to save the pterodactyls because a train was having trouble with a triceratops. Rubble sped to the stopped train and found a baby triceratops resting on the tracks in front of it. "Triceratops are my favorite dinos," said Rubble. "Let's get you off the tracks." Rubble climbed onto the triceratops's back, and the dinosaur gave him a ride away from the tracks. Then they played with the mother triceratops. "You did it, Rubble!" exclaimed the engineer. "You saved the day!" Meanwhile, Marshall found one of the baby pterodactyls in a tree. He wanted to return it to its mother. Marshall climbed up his fire ladder, and the dino bonked him with his beak. Marshall fell to the ground. "I'm good," Marshall said as the baby flapped down and landed gently on his tummy. Skye arrived in her helicopter and lowered a harness to Marshall. He slipped into it, and as he was carried into the air, he called to the baby pterodactyl, "Follow me!" The baby dinosaur flew all the way back to its nest with Marshall. Over at the playground, Chase found another baby pterodactyl. He launched a net from his pack and snagged it. Just then, the relieved mother pterodactyl flew down. She removed the net and happily took off with her baby. Not far away, Skye zoomed over Adventure Bay and spotted the last baby pterodactyl. She swooped down to rescue it, and the giant Utahraptor jumped in her way. "Keep your claws off that baby, you big bully," Skye barked. The giant raptor roared through Adventure Bay. It ate all the hamburgers, then swallowed all Mr. Porter's vegetables. It even gobbled up the Paw Patrol's favorite treats, liver links. Watching this gave Rocky an idea. A sausage link hit the raptor on the snout. Then another, and another. Rocky had turned his truck into a sausage slinger. As it drove away from Adventure Bay, it flung links into the air. The Utahraptor followed, hungrily gulping down the treats. "It's time to lead this parade out of town and into the jungle," said Rocky. The mother pterodactyl was glad to have her babies back. "We were happy to help," said Ryder. "Whenever you're in trouble, just squawk for help." Skye and Marshall took to the air, ready to lead the family to the jungle. "Aw, you guys are going too?" asked Rubble. The mother and baby triceratops roared goodbye as they lumbered away. "They'll all be much happier in the jungle," said Ryder.
Saving dinosaurs sure makes me tired, Rubble said with a yawn, and he stretched out on the grass.
Wake up, Rubble, said Captain Turbot. Nifty news. Those eggs you found are from a new species no one's ever seen. I named it Rubbleosaurus.
Wow, thanks, said Rubble. He couldn't believe a dinosaur was now named after him. It was a dream come true. The end. Paw Patrol, Puppy Birthday to You. One windy afternoon in Adventure Bay, a box moved down the street toward Katie's pet parlor. But this box wasn't being blown by the wind. It was creeping down the street on 8 paws. Suddenly, a big gust of wind blew the box away, revealing Skye and Rubble underneath. They quickly scampered into the shop. Inside, Ryder, Katie, and Rocky were getting ready for Chase's surprise birthday party.
Who's making sure Chase doesn't surprise us while we set up?
Skye asked.
Marshall,
Rocky said.
he can keep a secret, can't he?
Across town, Marshall and Chase were playing in Pup Park. They swung on the swings and slid down the slide.
Maybe we should go find Ryder and the pups,
Chase said.
No,
Marshall protested.
we can't, because it's, so nice out.
Just then, the wind picked up again and blew them right across the park. Back at the pet parlor, the lights suddenly went dark and Katie's mixer stopped.
All the lights on the street are out.
Rocky yelped. Ryder thought he knew what was wrong.
Paw Patrol to the lookout.
The team raced to the lookout, but without electricity, the doors wouldn't open. Luckily, Rocky had a screwdriver which did the trick. Once they were inside, Ryder used his telescope to check Adventure Bay's windmills. "Just as I thought," he said. "The wind broke a propeller. Since the windmill can't turn, it can't make electricity. We need to fix it." Ryder looked at Rocky. "We'll need something from your truck to fix the broken blade."
Green means go,
Rocky said, preparing for action. "We'll need Marshall's ladder to climb up and fix the windmill," said Ryder. Marshall nodded.
I'm fired up.
"Chase, the traffic lights won't work without electricity," Ryder continued. "I need you to use your siren and megaphone to direct traffic."
These paws uphold the laws,
Chase declared. Meanwhile, Skye, Zuma, and Rubble raced back to the pet parlor to continue setting up for Chase's surprise party. It was very dark, but Katie had a flashlight. At the center of town, Chase busily directed traffic.
You're our hero.
Mayor Goodway said as she crossed the street safely.
I'm just doing my Paw Patrol duty,
Chase said. Up in the hills, Ryder, Marshall, and Rocky went to work on the broken windmill. Ryder climbed Marshall's ladder and removed the old blade, while Rocky looked for a replacement piece in his truck.
No, not a tire, not a lawn chair,
Rocky said, pulling stuff out of his truck. At last, he found what he wanted.
Here it is, my old surfboard. This surfboard will catch a breeze and help turn it into electricity,
Rocky said as he bolted the board into place. The wind picked up and the windmill started to turn. Lights came on all over Adventure Bay. The traffic lights started working again.
Ryder and the Paw Patrol did it,
Chase announced through his megaphone.
My work here is done.
The lights in the pet parlor glowed brightly.
Hooray!
Cheered Skye. But then she frowned.
Aw, there's no time to make a cake.
Katie thought for a moment.
I have an idea.
As Chase drove back to the lookout, he got a call from Ryder.
We need you at Katie's, in a hurry.
When Chase got there, everything was dark and quiet.
Chase stepped inside. The lights went on. "Surprise!" everyone yelled. Chase was amazed.
Wow, you guys turned the lights back on and made a party for me? We didn't have time to make you a real cake,
Katie said.
so we hope you like your pup treat cookie cake.
"Whenever it's your birthday, just yelp for help," Ryder said with a laugh. All the puppies cheered and enjoyed a taste of Chase's special cake. The end. Paw Patrol All-Star Pups. Adapted by Mary Tilworth. Illustrated by Fabrizio Petrosi. One morning, the Paw Patrol pups were playing basketball with Mayor Goodway. Skye made a super sky hook right into the hoop. Rocky did his Rocky spin and shoot, swish. Then it was Marshall's turn. "Here comes my famous Dalmatian dunk," he said, jumping high in the air. But he missed the hoop and bounced right into Foggy Bottom's Mayor Humdinger. "If you blundering beagles need lessons," grumbled Mayor Humdinger, "my undefeated Foggy Bottom basketball team would be happy to help." Mayor Goodway folded her arms. "Bring on your boomers, Mayor. Tomorrow you'll see that Adventure Bay has the top team." But Mayor Goodway had forgotten one thing. Adventure Bay didn't have a basketball team. She immediately called Ryder. "No job is too big, no pup is too small for basketball," Ryder declared. "Paw Patrol, to the lookout." "We only have one day to get ready," Ryder told the pups at the lookout. "Chase, I'll need you to use your whistle, megaphone, and traffic cones to help run the practice. Marshall, I'll need you standing by with water and ice to make sure no one gets overheated. The rest of you pups, I need you to be the team." Later, at the basketball court, Chase set up a running and bouncing drill. "Okay, team, let's see some hustle," he said. As Marshall dribbled the basketball, it bounced out of control and he tripped over the cones. The pups piled into a pyramid next to the hoop. Marshall tried to pass the ball and took a tumble instead. Luckily, Skye nudged the ball into the hoop at the last second. On the big day, the mayor gave Ryder and the pups a team name, the Adventure Bay All-Stars. But they didn't feel like All-Stars. They felt nervous, especially Marshall. "I don't think I should play in the game," he said to Ryder. "If someone gets hurt, I want to be ready." "Are you sure that's the reason?" asked Ryder. Marshall nodded, but he was secretly worried that he wasn't good enough to be on the team. The Adventure Bay All-Stars lined up against the Foggy Bottom Boomers. Rubble and a boomer faced off at the center. Captain Turbot was the referee. "Okay, players, let's see super sportsmanship for this sporting spectacle." He tossed the basketball into the air, and the game was on. The boomer leaped up and knocked the ball away from Rubble. Foggy Bottom had the advantage. The ball bounced to a boomer who took a shot and scored. "Just let us know when you've had enough, Mayor Goodway," chuckled Mayor Humdinger. At the end of the court, Ryder passed the ball to Rocky. The pup dribbled down the court, dodging boomers left and right. Rocky threw the ball to Skye, who flipped it toward the hoop. The Adventure Bay All-Stars and the Foggy Bottom Boomers were tied 2-2. The Boomers headed down the court, and then, suddenly, Zuma stole the ball and passed it to Ryder. Ryder dribbled, weaved past a Boomer, shot, and scored. Up and down the court, the players dribbled, shot, and scored. And the Adventure Bay All-Stars were winning. "I can't believe the pups are ahead! I mean, go All-Stars!" cheered Mayor Goodway. Mayor Humdinger twirled his mustache and whispered to a boomer, "You know what to do."
As Rocky and Zuma headed down the court, a boomer stuck out his foot and sent them tumbling. From the sidelines, Marshall raced to the rescue. He bandaged Rocky's sprained paw and put an ice pack on Zuma's tail to keep the swelling down. "Do you want to play?" Ryder asked Marshall. "We need you. Otherwise, we don't have enough players." Marshall hung his head. "I'm kind of clumsy with the ball." "It doesn't matter how good you are. You're a part of our team," said Chase. "Come on. No game is too big. No pup is too small." With Marshall on the team, the All-Stars trotted onto the court. When Ryder missed a foul shot, Marshall dove for the rebound, but a boomer beat him to it. Ryder patted Marshall. "Don't worry, you'll get it next time." As the clock ticked down to the final seconds, the All-Stars were losing, 43-42. "Marshall!" called Ryder as he passed the ball to him. Whoa! Marshall landed on top of the ball and rolled right past the boomer defense. Marshall was still struggling to control the ball. He dove on top of it, and both the ball and the pup bounced high into the air and right into the hoop. The final buzzer sounded. On the scoreboard, the All-Stars had 44 points and the Boomers had 43. Marshall had scored the winning basket for the Adventure Bay All-Stars. Ryder reached up to help Marshall down. "Great move, Marshall."
You won the game,
cheered Skye. Ryder smiled. "If you ever need some all-star players, just yelp for help." The end.
Hi, everybody! Today I'm going to read you 12 stories about the Paw Patrol saving the day. Yes, you'll get to see Chase, Skye, Rubble, Marshall, Rocky, who didn't make it onto the cover for some reason, and everyone's favorite, Zuma. But you'll also get some great stories about some pups you don't get to see as often. That's right, we're going to see Everest, Rex, and Tracker. So buckle up and hop onto the Paw Patroller with me as we read Paw Patrol, Stories to Share. Here's a list of the stories we'll be reading. If you'd like to skip ahead to your favorite, there are timestamps you can click in the description below. While you're down there, you can also click on the link to the Paw Patrol Read Alouds playlist to hear more Paw Patrol books. And of course, I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. Here we go! High-flying Skye. Late one afternoon, Skye was flying high over the lookout. She was really excited because her hero, stunt pilot Ace Sorensen, was coming to the air show in Adventure Bay. Skye spun and spiraled and zipped and dipped.
Trick flying is the best,
she exclaimed. Down on the ground, Marshall wasn't so sure he agreed. The only thing he liked to fly was his kite. Suddenly, a big gust of wind caught Marshall's kite and blew him into the air. He got tangled in the kite's string and came crashing down, right on top of Rocky. "Sorry," Marshall said with a grin. "I guess my landing was a little rocky." Just then, Ryder got a call on his pup pad. It was Ace Sorensen, the stunt pilot. Her plane was having engine trouble, and she needed the Paw Patrol's help finding a place to land. "We're on it," Ryder declared. "No job is too big, no pup is too small." Ryder quickly called the pups to the lookout and told them about Ace. He needed Skye's helicopter and her night vision goggles.
This pup's gotta fly,
Skye yelped. She was eager to help her hero. Ryder also needed Chase's spotlight and traffic cones to make a runway at Farmer Yumi's farm. "Chase is on the case," barked the eager German Shepherd. Finally, Ryder asked Rocky to fix Ace's plane. "Green means go," Rocky cheered. The sun was setting as Skye zoomed through the clouds in her helicopter. She scanned the darkening sky with her goggles and spotted something in the distance.
There she is now!
Ace's damaged plane flew past a mountain and sputtered over the treetops. Black smoke poured out of the engine, making it even harder for Ace to see. Skye pulled ahead of Ace's plane.
Follow me,
she called, and led the way to Farmer Yumi's farm. Meanwhile, at the farm, Ryder, Chase, and Rocky were preparing a runway so Ace could land. Chase set up his orange safety cones to mark off the landing strip. "Great job," Ryder said. As the sky continued to darken, he turned to Rocky and asked if he had any old flashlights in his truck. "I've got a bunch," Rocky replied. He quickly collected the flashlights. Then, he and Ryder taped them to the traffic cones. When they were done, Ryder called Skye and told her to watch for the runway lights.
"Roger that,"
said Skye. Skye zoomed through the starry night and spotted the glowing landing strip just over a hill. When she and Ace started to descend, there was a loud boom. The plane began to shake as sparks sizzled along the wing. Ace radioed to the team that she would have to parachute out of the plane. Ryder didn't think parachuting in the dark was a good idea. He had another plan. "Ace, have you ever done the wing walking stunt?" he asked.
"Ace is the greatest wing walker in the whole world,"
Skye reported. "Awesome," Ryder exclaimed. He told Skye to lower her tow line and safety harness. Ace unbuckled her seatbelt and carefully climbed onto the wing of her bouncing, shaking plane. Skye lowered her tow line and harness and zoomed up close to Ace. The stunt pilot reached for the harness but couldn't quite get it. "I've got my parachute," Ace called. "I'm going to jump."
"No,"
Skye called back.
"We can do this, Ace."
Skye lowered her helicopter and flew in as close as she could. Ace tried again and grabbed the harness. She snapped herself in and was carried through the air to Farmer Yumi's farm. As Skye approached the farm, Ace radioed Ryder and asked him to track someone named Amelia. "Sure," Ryder said, "but who's Amelia?" "My plane," Ace replied. "Every great pilot names her plane." Ryder tracked the plane on his pup pad and saw that it was headed for a watery landing in the bay. "Let's find the plane and get it onto the beach before it sinks," said Ryder. Ryder and Chase raced to the bay, and Skye gently set Ace down at the farm. The stunt pilot unfastened her harness and waved up to the helicopter. "Thanks, Skye," she called.
"No problem, Ace,"
the pilot pup called back. Then she whispered excitedly to herself,
"I can't believe I saved my hero."
Splash! Amelia sputtered, then glided to a stop in the bay. Ryder sped out to the plane on his jet ski and hooked a cable to it. When Ryder gave the command, Chase turned on his winch and pulled Amelia to shore. But when Ace saw her plane, she wasn't very hopeful about flying it in the air show. There was so much damage, she thought she'd need an entire team of mechanics to fix it all. Luckily, she had the Paw Patrol. "Reporting for duty," Rocky said. By the glow of Chase's spotlight, Rocky riveted a patch onto Amelia's wing. At the same time, Ryder fixed the cockpit while Ace adjusted the engine. In no time, Skye started up the plane. The propeller began to spin and the engine roared. The plane was as good as new.
"I can't wait for the air show tomorrow,"
Skye said. Ace hopped onto one of the wings. "How would you like to see my wing walk and roll trick up close and personal?" Skye thought that sounded great. The next day was sunny and warm, and the Paw Patrol watched the air show from Adventure Bay's beach. They cheered and waved as Amelia flew into view. Ace climbed out of the cockpit and stood on a wing. Then the plane tilted slightly, and they saw Skye smiling behind the controls. Suddenly, Ace jumped into the air, and Skye made the plane twirl around. When the plane was level again, Ace landed back on the wing. Ryder and the pups couldn't believe their eyes. The wing walk and roll trick was the most amazing stunt they'd ever seen. "Wow!" Rocky gasped, watching Skye zoom through the clouds. "She's so good!" "You're all good pups," Ryder said. The pups cheered and barked for each other as Skye and Ace zipped overhead. Sea Patrol to the rescue. One sunny morning, the Paw Patrol were at their new beach tower headquarters. Mayor Goodway had asked the pups to be Adventure Beach's new lifeguard rescue team. She wanted them on duty during her luau that afternoon. "We'll be the Sea Patrol," Ryder announced. "But before you can save anyone, you'll have to earn your lifeguard badges." "Ready, set, get wet," barked Zuma. For the lifeguard test, the pups didn't rescue a person. They took turns swimming through a course of floating buoys and rescuing a pineapple named Mr. Prickly. One by one, each pup earned a badge, until it was Rocky's turn. "That's okay," he said. "I don't like getting wet." "You can't be a lifeguard without getting wet," Skye said. Rocky said to himself. "We'll see about that." Instead of swimming, Rocky jumped from buoy to buoy. Then he threw a life ring around Mr. Prickly. He pulled the pineapple in and hopped back to shore without getting wet. "Cool rescue technique," Ryder said. "But if you want to earn your lifeguard badge, you have to swim." Rocky was happy to be a land guard. "I know you can do this," said Ryder. "If you don't feel up to it now, you can try again later." Meanwhile, Captain Turbot was out at sea feeding Wally the walrus. "Here's some more juicy jellyfish jerky," he said. He didn't realize that a baby octopus was stuck to the side of his chum bucket. Suddenly, the water started churning, and Captain Turbot's boat, the Flounder, began to rock. Giant tentacles reached out of the waves and wrapped around the boat. "Great gushing geysers! I need the Paw Patrol!" Captain Turbot exclaimed, and he called Ryder. Ryder told the pups about Captain Turbot's boat. "The Sea Patrol is on a roll." Ryder, how are we going to get out to the Flounder?" Rubble asked. Ryder pushed a button on his paw pad. The beach tower shook as a huge ship called the Sea Patroller detached from it. Robo-Dog was at the controls, and he loaded Zuma's and Rubble's special sea vehicles onto it. Ryder, Rubble, Zuma, and Marshall hopped aboard, and the Sea Patroller sped to the rescue. The Sea Patroller reached the troubled Flounder. Zuma and Rubble hit the waves in their new sea vehicles. Zuma tried to pull the tentacles off of Captain Turbot's boat with his vehicle's mechanical arms, but the sea monster was too strong. Ryder had an idea. He told Robo-Dog to sound the Sea Patroller's horn. Bwah! The startled sea monster released the Flounder and slid back below the ocean's surface. "Hooray!" Everyone cheered. But just then, the Flounder started to sink, and Captain Turbot was still on it. Rubble used his crane to pluck Captain Turbot from the deck, just as the boat slipped under the waves. "The pups and I will do everything we can to raise the Flounder," Ryder promised. As Rubble headed back to land, no one noticed the little stowaway stuck to Captain Turbot's life ring. Marshall put on his scuba gear, dove into the water, and went to work. He found the sunken Flounder and started pumping it full of air from his tanks. The boat floated up toward the surface. As Marshall watched the boat rise, something shiny caught his eye. Was it undersea treasure? He picked it up with his mechanical claw and shook it. It's a baby rattle, he exclaimed.
Meanwhile, Captain Turbot was back on Adventure Beach trying to cheer himself up at Mayor Goodway's luau. But while he looked for something to eat, the baby octopus jumped off him and landed on Mayor Humdinger's head.
Help!
The mayor shouted.
Get it off!
Just then, the sea monster rose out of the waves. Skye took to the air with her parasail to distract it, while Rubble built a sand wall to protect the beachgoers. When Ryder arrived, he saw that the sea monster was actually an octopus, and it was squinting. It's looking for something, but it can't see very well.
Well, keep it away from me,
muttered Mayor Humdinger.
I don't want that on my head, too.
Then Ryder realized the giant octopus was the little octopus's mother. We need to get that baby back to its mom. But first, they had to get the baby off Mayor Humdinger's head. Marshall remembered the rattle he'd found and started shaking it. The baby octopus reached for the toy, but because Mayor Humdinger couldn't see, he accidentally knocked the rattle into the ocean. Someone had to get that rattle.
I can find it with my metal detector,
said Rocky. Are you sure, Rocky? Ryder asked. You'll have to swim and get wet.
If getting wet will help the baby octopus get back to its mom, I can do it,
Rocky declared. He extended his metal detector, bravely dove into the water, and found the rattle. Shaking the toy, Zuma boarded the sea patroller with Ryder and headed away from the beach. The little octopus followed the rattling noise, and the mother followed her baby. Out in the deep water, the mother and baby found each other and hugged. Ryder quickly made eyeglasses out of 2 punch bowls from the luau. Now, the mother could always find her baby. The Sea Patrol had worked together and saved the day. Back on the beach, everyone cheered for the pups and for Captain Turbot's newly repaired flounder.
Thank you, Paw Patrol,
said Mayor Goodway.
You saved the beach and the party.
I think Rocky deserves the biggest thank you, said Ryder. He got wet to save the day and earned this. Ryder pinned a lifeguard badge to Rocky's vest. All the pups howled and hurrayed for their brave friend. Track that monkey! One day, the Paw Patrol were in the jungle helping their friends Carlos and Tracker give the monkeys their yearly checkup. Tracker used his magnifying glass to examine Mandy the monkey.
I'm ready to take Mandy's x-ray,
said Marshall. Mandy put her face behind Marshall's scanner. The image of her bones surprised the other monkeys, and they started running in circles.
Uh-oh, how do we calm them down?
Asked Rocky.
Scratch their backs, said Carlos. Monkeys love that.
Rocky extended the claw from his pup pack and went to work scratching backs. The monkeys quickly relaxed.
Looks like you've made some new friends, Rocky,
Marshall yelped. Just then, a giant monkey named Big Harry peeked around the rock he was hiding behind and saw Rocky's back scratcher. He really wanted to have his back scratched. Chase and Zuma arrived, back from searching the jungle.
We looked all over, but we didn't find any more monkeys who need a checkup,
said Chase. Carlos decided it was time to close the monkey checkup center. He thanked the Paw Patrol for their help. Marshall invited Tracker to come back with the pups for a visit. The pups happily scampered into the Paw Patroller as Carlos and the monkeys waved goodbye. The Paw Patroller rumbled along the jungle road. Suddenly, big bunches of bananas landed on the roof.
Escucharon?
Tracker asked. Did anyone else hear that? Ryder and the pups didn't see anything outside. Probably just some bumps in the road, Ryder suggested.
They didn't realize that Big Harry was riding on the roof of their vehicle. As the Paw Patroller rolled into town, Big Harry saw the giant cup on top of Mr. Porter's lemonade stand. He leaped from the vehicle onto the stand's roof. He rubbed his back against the huge cup, and it broke loose and crashed to the ground. Next, Big Harry ran to the statue of Chickaletta in front of City Hall and rubbed his back against it. The statue fell over with a thud. The giant monkey quickly ran off to find something else to scratch his back on. Mayor Goodway discovered the statue of Chickaletta lying on the sidewalk. "How did this happen?" she cried. Then she heard the sound of bells ringing and looked up. She couldn't believe her eyes. A giant monkey was shaking the bell tower on top of City Hall. Mayor Goodway immediately called the Paw Patrol. Ryder gathered the pups at the lookout and told them about Big Harry. "We'd better get him home before he causes any more monkey trouble," he said. For this mission, Ryder needed Rocky's big claw and catapult. He also needed Tracker's Jeep and his super hearing. "Green means go!" shouted Rocky. "I'm all ears!" Tracker exclaimed. "Todos oídos!" "The Paw Patrol is on the roll," Ryder said. He and the two pups rushed to their vehicles. The team found Big Harry outside Mr. Porter's market. Rocky used his catapult to launch bananas at the monkey. Tracker tried to lure him away by pulling the banana-filled wagon with his cables. The giant monkey wasn't interested. "Why isn't he going after the bananas?" Rocky asked. That was when Ryder noticed that Big Harry was scratching his fur and pointing at Rocky's claw. "He wants his back scratched with the best back scratcher ever, just like the other monkeys did," said Ryder. Just then, Big Harry grabbed Rocky and took off. "After that giant monkey!" shouted Ryder. Ryder called the rest of the Paw Patrol together. They chased Big Harry and surrounded him on a bridge. "Big Harry, please let Rocky go!" begged Ryder. But Big Harry didn't want to. He turned and leaped off the bridge. Big Harry landed safely on the deck of Captain Turbot's boat, the Flounder. "Sizzling sea serpents! I've never seen such a supersized simian!" Captain Turbot exclaimed. "I need to shoot a series of snaps!" He reached for his camera, but before he could get a shot, Big Harry was gone. Big Harry made his way to the lookout and climbed to the top of the tower. Chase used his megaphone to check on Rocky. "How are you doing up there, Rocky?" he called. "I'm okay," Rocky replied, "but I'm getting tired of scratching." After a moment, Ryder had an idea. Skye swooped in and nudged Big Harry away from the edge of the roof. Then, Zuma moved the periscope up and down from the control room to scratch Big Harry's back. He was so relaxed, he let go of Rocky. Tracker used his cables as a zipline to bring Rocky down safely. "Great work, Tracker," said Ryder. Skye dangled a bunch of bananas just out of Big Harry's reach, then slowly lowered them to the roof. The giant monkey climbed down the lookout and followed Skye to the Paw Patroller. Everything was back to normal, except Big Harry's back was still itchy. Rocky ran over to Big Harry and gave him a giant back scratcher. "I made you something to remember me by," Rocky exclaimed. Big Harry was thrilled. He grabbed his new back scratcher and hopped onto the roof of the Paw Patroller. He was ready to head back to the jungle. Ryder asked Robodog to take Big Harry home, and soon the Paw Patroller began to roll away. Everyone said goodbye to the big monkey. "And remember," Ryder called, Whenever you have an itch, just ooka ooka for help. The pups laughed and cheered. Gold Rush Pups. One sunny day, Rubble was digging for gold with Chickaletta, Mayor Goodway, and her Uncle Otis. Unfortunately, Uncle Otis's prospecting tools were really old. His shovel broke and the bottom fell out of his gold straining pan. Uncle Otis needed help, and Rubble and the mayor knew just who to call: the Paw Patrol. Ryder, Chase, and Rocky rode to the rescue. Rocky had the perfect recycled tools, a used shovel for Uncle Otis, and some old strainers so everyone could pan for gold. They all went to work beside the river. Suddenly, Chickaletta found a shiny rock. It was gold. Chase and Ryder found some too. Soon, they had a big pile of glittering gold. Since Chickaletta had found the first gold nugget, Mayor Goodway wanted to build a big golden statue of her feathery friend. "Good idea," said Ryder. "Come on, pups, the more gold we find, the bigger the statue." Not far away, Mayor Humdinger from Foggy Bottom was watching the pups and their friends. "That gold is mine because, I want it." He planned to make a golden statue of himself, so he radioed his kitten catastrophe crew. "Kittens, it's catastrophe time!" Mayor Humdinger joined Ryder and the pup prospectors. When no one was looking, the mean mayor snuck something into his strainer. "What's this?" he said. "A diamond!" Everyone was amazed by the mayor's discovery. While the others studied the diamond, the kitten catastrophe crew loaded the gold into a little truck. Uncle Otis peered closely at the mayor's find. "This is no diamond," he said. "It's just rock candy." The friends turned around just in time to see Mayor Humdinger getting away with the gold. The Paw Patrol was on the roll. "Chase, we need your drone," Ryder exclaimed. A drone flew out of Chase's truck. It zoomed into the air and tracked Mayor Humdinger and his kittens. The mayor and his crew raced to their mountain hideout. "Home sweet home, kitties," he announced. "Don't forget the gold." They all ran into their secret cave, but no one brought the gold inside. Chase's drone led Ryder and the pups right to Mayor Humdinger's hideout and the stolen gold. "Rocky, unhook the wagon," Ryder said. "You got it," exclaimed Rocky. Ryder had a plan to stop the sneaky kittens from chasing after the gold. "Let it go, Rubble," he shouted. Rubble pushed a big boulder in front of the hideout's entrance, temporarily trapping Mayor Humdinger and the kitten catastrophe crew. "No!" Mayor Humdinger cried as Ryder and the pups rode away with the gold. "I deserve to be a statue!" A few days later in Adventure Bay, Mayor Goodway unveiled a giant golden statue of Chickaletta. Ryder, Uncle Otis, and all the pups cheered when the little chicken perched on top. "She loves it!" Mayor Goodway exclaimed, and everyone cheered for Chickaletta. Ready, race, rescue! It was the day of the Adventure Bay 500, a very important car race. All the best racers were there. Riff Rockenbach, Lionel Lightspeed, Willie Wide Wheels Jr., and the Mighty Whoosh. The Paw Patrol was excited to be the pit crew. "Marshall, you must be the Whoosh's biggest fan pup ever," said Skye. "I am," said Marshall. "I've seen every one of his races." Just then, the cheetah screeched up to the starting line. She was Mayor Humdinger's niece and a very sneaky racer. "Eat my dust, pups," she said when the qualifying race began. "And they're off, except for the Whoosh," said Ron Rapidfire, the announcer. "He seems to be stuck at the starting line." Mayor Humdinger had ordered his Kitten Catastrophe crew to glue the Whoosh's tires to the track. "I'm ready to do a rough repair," said Marshall, who had his hydro blaster. "I've got lots more dirty tricks," said the cheetah, pushing a button in her car. A spear came out of her wheel and punctured Lionel Lightspeed's tire. "Don't worry, Lionel," said Ryder. "The pit crew pups will get you back in the race." The Paw Patrol raced to the rescue in their brand new mobile pit stop. Riff's speakers were blasting loud music as he caught up to the cheetah. "I've got a new song for you," said the cheetah. "It's called the Foggy Bottom Blues." She pushed a button and a blue fog immediately sprayed from her car. Both Willie and Riff crashed. The mobile pit crew was quickly on the scene. "Wow, the pit crew pups have had their paws full today," declared Ron Rapidfire. Cheetah pushed another button and another dirty trick took the Whoosh out of the race. "Whoosh, are you okay?" asked Marshall. "I must have banged my arm," said the Whoosh. "I can't drive like this." "But you can drive, Marshall." Marshall couldn't say no to his favorite driver, so he took the Whoosh's place in the next race. He zoomed along the track, screeching around the turns. "Marshall has taken the lead as they head for the finish line," announced Ron Rapidfire. "That pup's finished all right," said the cheetah. "Now to slingshot to victory. See ya." With that, the cheetah fired a rope at Marshall's car, which pulled him back while she zoomed ahead of him. Marshall's car went spinning. And the winner of the Adventure Bay 500 is the cheetah, said Ron. There was one more race left, the Road Rally Championship. The Whoosh's arm wouldn't be better in time for the championship, so he trained Marshall to take his place. He taught the pup how to drift, slide, and glide. "I've got a very serious and important racing tip for you," said the Whoosh. "Smile, buddy. Racing is fun." "I can definitely do that," said Marshall. In the cheetah's hideout, the Humdingers were making plans. "The Whoosh is training that pup to race against you," said Mayor Humdinger. The cheetah thought for a moment. "We need to upgrade my race car by taking the best parts from everyone else's." Mayor Humdinger used his blimp to steal the other drivers' cars. He even snatched up the Whoosh so he couldn't coach Marshall. "This rescue has a need for speed," Ryder declared. He used the mobile pit stop to jazz up all the pup's rescue vehicles. Engines revved and roared as the Paw Patrol raced to the rescue. Back at the track, it was time for the championship race. The cheetah rolled up in her racer, which had been turbocharged with all the best parts from the stolen cars. "There's no one to challenge the cheetah!" exclaimed Mayor Goodway. "I guess that means I win," said the cheetah. Just then, Marshall rolled up in his super rescue car. "I'm racing for Team Whoosh," he declared. But then he radioed Ryder. "Have you rescued the Whoosh yet? I could really use his coaching about now." "We're still after him, Marshall," Ryder replied. "Hang in there." "Ready, set, race," said Mayor Goodway, and the cars sped off. Meanwhile, the rest of the pups worked together to save the Whoosh. Skye caught Mayor Humdinger's blimp in her turbojet. Rocky built a ramp, which Chase used to launch himself mid-air to free the Whoosh. The Whoosh fell into the bay, where Zuma picked him up. The race went on. The cheetah tried her slingshot move again. Marshall began to spin out of control, just like before. But then he remembered what the whoosh had taught him. He stayed calm and steered through the spin. "Way to go, Marshall," said a familiar voice through Marshall's pup tag. "Whoosh!" exclaimed Marshall. "You're back!" "Ryder and the pups saved me," said the whoosh, "but no one needs to save you. You can win this race all on your own." "I can," said Marshall. "I'll try to drift, slide, and glide, just like you taught me." Marshall sped toward the finish line. He won the race! "This championship really belongs to the whoosh," Marshall declared. "I couldn't have won it without him." "Thanks," said the whoosh, "but you won on your own, with the true heart of a racer." Mayor Goodway presented Marshall with a trophy, and everyone cheered. King for a day. "Fear not, fair princess," Marshall cried. "The pups of the round table will save thee." The pups were practicing their play about knights. Chase was King Arthur, and the other pups were his brave knights. "Our play will be knight-tastic," Marshall declared. In Adventure Bay's town square, Captain Turbot was building the set for the play. The set looked like a castle.
Castle construction is close to completion,
Captain Turbot announced.
just one last nail.
But when he swung his hammer, he missed. Instead of hitting the nail, he hit the castle wall. And the set collapsed. A big piece of the castle fell right on top of Captain Turbot.
I'm stuck,
he cried. He reached for his phone and called the Paw Patrol for help. "Don't worry, Captain Turbot," Ryder said. "No job is too big, no pup is too small." The Paw Patrol raced to the town square. "How are you, Captain Turbot?" Marshall asked.
Super, but stuck,
he said.
and my arm smarts a smidge.
"We'll have you out in no time," Ryder promised. "Rubble, use your claw hook to lift the wall." "On the double," Rubble said. Rubble backed his truck up to the wall and lifted it away from Captain Turbot. But there was still another piece of scenery trapping him. Chase used the winch on his vehicle to pull the doorway off Captain Turbot. He was free.
Thanks, Paw Patrol,
Captain Turbot said as he stood and brushed himself off. "Okay, Captain Turbot," Marshall said. "I'll need to do a medical exam. X-ray machine." The machine popped out of Marshall's pack. He used it to scan Captain Turbot's bones. Marshall said. "Looks like it's only a sprain. I'll wrap it up." A bandage popped out of Marshall's pack. He wrapped the bandage around Captain Turbot's wrist. Captain Turbot needed to rest his arm, so it was up to the Paw Patrol to finish building the castle for their play. "Okay, my pups of the round table," Chase commanded through his megaphone. "Moveth!" Skye used her helicopter and a towing cable to fly a wall to the set. She placed it in the middle of the stage. Rocky popped a tool arm out of his pack. Zzz! He used the power screwdriver to spin screws through a hinge and into the wooden door. He tested the door to make sure it could easily open and close. "This castle door is ready," he announced. Marshall held a paintbrush in his mouth and dipped it into a can of purple paint. He carefully spread the paint on the wall. Ryder worked on the other side of the doorway. Together, they finished painting the castle in a flash. Soon, the castle was ready. The pups felt so proud. They all howled and barked. Except Chase. He didn't bark. He coughed. Marshall took his temperature. "Uh-oh, you've got a fever. You need lots of rest and liquids." But who would play King Arthur in the play? Marshall. He knew all the lines, and the crown fit him.
It was time to start the entertainment, and the last of the audience arrived just before the play began. Callie the kitten was a princess stuck high in a tower. The pup who pulled the bone from the stone would become king and save the princess. "Behold, the bone!" Rubble said. Rocky said, licking his lips. "It lookseth delicious." Marshall entered. "Fear not, fair princess." He jumped over the bone and took it in his teeth. Then he struggled to pull it out of the stone. Whoop. When the bone came free, it flew out of Marshall's mouth and hit the tower. The tower toppled over and Callie fell. The audience gasped. Thankfully, Marshall caught Callie, and he remembered to say his line. "You are free, fair princess." The audience cheered. Marshall was doing an excellent job. Lady Skye popped the wings out of her pack and flew over Marshall. "Heads up," she said as she dropped a golden crown right onto his head. It was a perfect fit. "All hail King Arthur!" the pups cried, kneeling in front of Marshall. The curtain closed. When it opened again, the pups took a bow. The audience cheered again. "Great job, all of you," Ryder said. "You're such good pups." The king had saved the day, and Marshall had saved the play. Let's visit the doctor. One morning, the Paw Patrol was finishing a mission in Adventure Bay. Ryder received a message from Everest on his pup pad. "I'm worried about Jake," she said. "He seems a little sick." "He should go to the doctor," Ryder said. "That's what I told him to do," Everest replied. "But he says he's too busy." "We'll be right there," Ryder said. Ryder and the pups raced up to the lodge on Jake's mountain. The trucks rolled along on the snowy roads while Skye zoomed through the icy air. "Hi, Ryder," Jake said with a sniffle. "What brings you up here?" "The pups and I heard you aren't feeling well," Ryder replied. "We wanted to know if we could do anything for you." "I'm okay," Jake said. "I just have a little, achoo!" Marshall took Jake's temperature. "Looks like you're a little warm. You should see a doctor," he said. "I'll go to the doctor when I have time," Jake answered. "Right now, I'm too busy. I have to fix these steps and move some rocks that roll down the mountain. And then, achoo!" Jake sat down on the front steps of his lodge. "I do feel a little tired and achy." "If you're feeling ill," Everest said, "you should see Dr. Duvall. He'll help you feel better and make sure you don't get even sicker." "But what about everything I need to do?" Jake asked. "The pups can help you while you go to the doctor," Ryder said. "Yeah, I can fix that broken step," Rocky exclaimed as a hammer popped out of his pup pack. "I can move those rocks that fell," Rubble said. "Rubble on the double." Ryder smiled. "And Everest, Marshall, and I can help Jake get to the doctor," he said. Ryder, Jake, and the pups arrived at Dr. Duvall's office. They opened the door and stepped into the waiting room. They sat down until it was Jake's turn to see the doctor. There were books and puzzles to help pass the time. Jake even saw Captain Turbot. "Are you feeling sick too?" Jake asked him. "I'm feeling fit and fine, my friend," Captain Turbot said. "Just coming in for my yearly checkup." "It's important to see the doctor at least once a year," Ryder said, "even if you feel okay." Jake didn't have to wait very long. Dr. Duvall opened the door to the examination room. "Hi, Jake," he said. "Are you and your friends ready to come in?" Jake sat on the examination table and took off his shirt. "How are you feeling?" Dr. Duvall asked. "A little sniffly and tired," Jake replied. "I just have a cold." "Well, let's do the exam, just to be sure," Dr. Duvall said. This will be really quick and easy. First, Dr. Duval checked Jake's weight and measured his height. Next, Dr. Duval put on his stethoscope.
That's so he can hear inside your body,
Marshall explained. Take a deep breath. Now let it out. Good. Everything sounds healthy, Dr. Duval said. After that, Dr. Duval took Jake's temperature with a thermometer. 98.6 degrees is normal, he said, but you're a little warmer than that. You have a bit of a fever.
I knew it,
Marshall announced with a smile. The doctor also checked Jake's throat. Say, ah.
Ah,
Jake echoed, then added, chew. He had sneezed again. Dr. Duval looked into Jake's eyes, ears, and nose with a small light. Wow, Everest exclaimed. Doctors have a lot of cool tools. It's like Dr. Duval has his own pup pack. Ryder and the doctor laughed. Even Jake gave a little smile. The doctor tested Jake's vision by asking him to read letters on an eye chart. Well, we're all done, Dr. Duval said, making some notes in his folder. You were right. You do have a small cold, but it's good you came in. If you don't take care of yourself, small colds can get big. The doctor told Jake to get lots of rest and eat some hot soup. When Jake returned to the lodge, the step was fixed and the rocks had been moved.
wow, you pups did great work,
Jake said, sniffling.
thank you.
Just then, Skye came in for a landing with a brown paper bag.
Watch out,
She said.
I've got some hot soup from Mr. Porter's restaurant.
Jake put on his coziest pajamas, wrapped himself in a blanket, and enjoyed a bowl of soup.
I was silly to think I didn't have time to go to the doctor,
He said.
especially when I have such great friends who can help me out.
There's always time to go to the doctor, Ryder said.
Yeah, you should go for a visit if you don't feel good,
Said Everest,
And make sure to get regular checkups too.
said Marshall. And if you ever think you're too busy, Rubble said, smiling.
Just yelp for help.
Finished Jake. Ice Team. One sunny day, the Paw Patrol was getting ready for a trip to see their friend Jake at the ice fields. Suddenly, there was a loud roar and a big truck rolled up. Presenting the Paw Patroller, Ryder announced. It's a lookout on wheels. It can take us anywhere. A door opened in the side and a mechanical dog hopped out. Robo-Dog will be our driver. As Ryder was showing the pups around the Paw Patroller, Jake called. Hey Jake, how are the ice fields? Ryder asked.
Amazing,
Jake declared.
take a look.
The screen showed snowy hills and an icy river. Just then, Jake slipped on the ice and the pups could hear him yell,
My phone, my maps, all my stuff.
Jake's equipment had splashed into the icy river. Jake's in big trouble, Rubble exclaimed. Pups, get your vehicles, Ryder said. The Paw Patroller's back door opened and a ramp came out. The pups quickly drove their vehicles aboard. Robo-Dog started the engine and the Paw Patroller rolled into action. At the ice fields, Jake was trying to get his backpack out of the water, but the riverbank was so icy that he began to slide in. Luckily, a husky pup pulled him out.
Sweet save,
Jake said, then introduced himself. My name's Everest, the pup exclaimed. I rescued someone. I've always wanted to do a real rescue. We should probably get going, Everest said. A storm's rolling in. I wouldn't want to lose my first real rescue in a blizzard. We can wait it out in my igloo. To get there, we can do this. Everest flopped onto her belly and slid down the hill.
belly boggening.
Jake shouted, taking off after her.
Look out below. The two new friends slid along the ice, zooming past some penguins. When the Paw Patroller reached the ice fields, the snow was falling hard. The team started to look for Jake. They quickly found his frozen phone and pack. "This means Jake doesn't have any supplies," Ryder said. Then he noticed something in the snow. "Are those tracks?" Chase gave the tracks a sniff. "That's Jake, all right. And he's got another pup with him." "Those tracks should lead us to Jake," Ryder announced. "Let's follow them." As Chase followed the tracks on the ground, Skye took to the frosty air. "This pup's gotta fly!" Everest and Jake came to a narrow bridge that stretched across a deep, dark ravine. "My igloo is just across that ice bridge," Everest said. "Will it hold us?" Jake asked. "I hope so," the husky replied. "It's the only way to get over." As they walked across, they heard a terrible cracking noise. The ice bridge was breaking. Just as the bridge collapsed, Skye swooped in, catching Jake and Everest with a rope. But before she had carried them to the other side of the ravine, the rope broke. "Jump!" Jake yelled. Everest landed on a ledge, but Jake missed it. He caught the edge with his fingers and dangled over the dark ravine. "Don't worry," Everest yelled. "I've got you." She snagged Jake's sleeve and pulled him to safety. "Yes! 2 rescues in one day!" Everyone went to Jake's cabin on the mountain for roasted marshmallows. And a surprise. "Everest," Jake said, "I could use a smart pup like you to help out on the mountain." "And for saving Jake and showing great rescue skills," Ryder added, "I'd like to make you an official member of the Paw Patrol." "This is the best day ever!" Everest exclaimed, and all the pups cheered. Pup-Fu Power. It was a special day for Farmer Yumi's martial arts students. The Paw Patrol, Mayor Goodway, and Chickaletta were all gathered in her barn, eager to earn their Pup-Fu yellow belts. "Students, are you ready?" asked Farmer Yumi. The pups lined up and bowed to their sensei. One by one, the pups showed off their moves. Rocky twirled a staff, and Marshall spun. Skye kicked high, and Rubble stood tall. Zuma was ready for action. Chase announced, "And now I will… shoo! I'm sorry, I'm a little allergic to… kittens?" It was the Kitten Catastrophe crew from Foggy Bottom. They had snuck into Farmer Yumi's barn. Mayor Humdinger had brought his team of mischievous kittens to prove that their cat jitsu was better than Pup-Fu. "Pup-Fu rules! Cat jitsu drools!" Mayor Goodway said, folding her arms. "And there's nothing like Henkaido!" "Walk!" Chickaletta clucked in agreement and gave a quick kick. "It's not about which art is superior," Farmer Yumi said. "The point is for all pups, kittens, mayors, and chickens to do their best." Mayor Humdinger clapped his hands, and the Kitten Catastrophe crew sprang into action. They jumped and kicked and rolled on balls. One kitten headed for the zip line. "I'll show you how a Pup-Fu master uses the zip line," Marshall said as he jumped and grabbed the cord. "Whee!" A mechanical claw belonging to one mischievous kitten popped out of his pack and hooked onto the line. Zing! Marshall went flying. Marshall crashed to the ground. "Are you okay?" Rubble asked. "Sure," Marshall replied. "A Pup-Fu master always knows exactly how to land when they fall." "For the next part of our belt test, we will have sparring," Farmer Yumi said. The pups and kittens began to spar. Marshall and a kitten in blue bowed and then sprang into action. Marshall jumped and spun through the air. The kitten launched a ball of yarn from her pack. "Whoa!" Marshall yelped as he fell to the floor. His legs were wrapped in yarn. Pup-Fu, Mayor Humdinger snickered. That looks like Pup-Fail. It was time to award the belts. Farmer Yumi gave each pup a golden yellow belt. She was proud of them and their dedication to Pup-Fu. Your extra hard work would please the ancient masters. But there were no belts for the kittens. Mayor Humdinger, Farmer Yumi said, until your kittens learn to control themselves and their tools, I'm afraid they cannot earn their yellow belts. Hooray for the Paw Patrol, Ryder cheered. They were all good pups, and they were all very good sports. Pit Crew Pups. Alex was a friend of the Paw Patrol. He called to his grandfather.
Hey, Grandpa, check out what I made from old stuff from your restaurant. A super trike.
Very nice, Grandpa said.
Look,
Alex said.
I made a brake out of a pizza paddle.
And you used lots of duct tape, Grandpa said.
Just like you taught me,
Alex said.
Watch this, Grandpa,
Alex said.
I'm going to go super fast on my super trike.
First, he tightened his helmet. Then he grabbed the handlebars, ran as fast as he could, jumped in, and pedaled hard.
Woohoo!
He cried as he raced down the sidewalk. But the super trike hit a little bump and flew into the air. Whoomp! When the bike landed, it fell apart.
My super trike!
Alex wailed. Parts flew everywhere. Some even rolled into the street.
Now I have to put it all back together again,
Alex said sadly. I know who can help you, Grandpa said. Grandpa called Ryder. Hello, Ryder said. Ryder here. Hi, Ryder, Grandpa said. I have a bit of an emergency. He explained what happened to Alex's bike. I know you're pretty handy with gadgets and vehicles. Tell him we're on our way, Ryder said. No job is too big, no pup is too small. Ryder called the Paw Patrol. They jumped into their vehicles and zoomed across the bridge to town. Vroom! Ryder led the way on his four-wheeler. Chase drove his customized squad car. Rocky followed in his repair truck. And Skye flew overhead in her helicopter. Let's secure the work zone, Chase said. In the street, he put orange cones around the scattered parts of Alex's super trike. Next, he spoke to the drivers through his megaphone. Please find an alternate route. Paw Patrol at work. The cars turned around and drove down a different street. Ryder and Alex picked up the parts.
Can you fix it?
Alex asked. Sure we can, Ryder said. Back at the lookout, Ryder, Rocky, and Chase put the super trike back together. They also added some new parts. And instead of duct tape, they used screws and rivets to fasten the parts together. These will hold better, Rocky said.
But my grandpa fixes everything with duct tape,
Alex said. I think it's done, Ryder announced.
Awesome,
Alex shouted.
Now my super trike can go super fast. Come on, Ryder, let's race.
First we need to test it, and then you need to get used to it, Ryder said. Try riding it slowly. But Alex didn't want to go slowly. He jumped on his super trike and took off, pedaling as hard as he could. Alex, wait, Ryder called. You're going too fast. Alex zoomed down a hill.
Wow, this is fast.
But it was too fast. Alex took his feet off the pedals. Ryder rode up behind him. Slow down, use the brakes.
I can't get my feet back on the pedals,
Alex cried.
They're turning too fast.
Ryder looked ahead and saw that Alex was racing right toward a busy street. Chase, Ryder yelled, secure the traffic. Chase is on the case, he called. He took a shortcut down a hill with his lights flashing and his sirens blaring. He pulled into traffic. Please stop, he said to the drivers. Paw Patrol emergency in progress.
all the cars stopped. Just then, Alex and Ryder zipped by onto the bridge. Ryder called Skye. "I need you and your copter at the bridge."
Let's take to the sky,
she said. Skye flew straight to the bridge. Then she lowered a hook to catch the back of Alex's trike to slow him down. She missed it twice, but on her third try, she did it.
Got him,
she said. The trike stopped. Alex got off and waved up to Skye.
Yay, Skye! Great flying!
That was some pretty good flying, Ryder agreed.
Aw,
Skye said modestly.
It was no biggie.
Are you all right, Alex? Ryder asked.
I'm okay, he said. I just couldn't stop it. My super trike is too super.
The pups joined Ryder and Alex on the bridge.
I'm sorry, Ryder, Alex said. This is all my fault. If I had slowed down like you said, this wouldn't have happened.
That's okay, Alex, Ryder said. But whenever you try something new, you have to start out easy. Alex nodded and smiled.
I know. I just wanted to be like you, Ryder.
You were such good pups today. How about we head to the lemonade stand? Ryder suggested.
Yeah!
Alex cheered, ringing the bell on his super trike.
Let's race on over.
Skye cleared her throat and Chase shook his head.
I mean, roll on over, Alex said.
They all got into their vehicles and rode to the lemonade stand safely. Good work, Alex, Ryder said. You've earned the Paw Patrol Safe Driving Cup. He handed Alex a trophy.
Wowee,
Alex said.
Thanks, Ryder.
You've also won a spoon, Ryder added. Alex looked confused.
A spoon? Why?
Ryder took the top off the trophy. It was full of ice cream. 'Cause it's an ice cream cup.
Yay!
Alex cheered. Chase's space case. One starry night, Ryder, Skye, and Rocky were gazing up at the sky.
A star is falling,
Skye said. Ryder checked with his binoculars. That doesn't look like a star to me, he said. It seems to be some kind of spaceship. Cool, Rocky and Skye said. And it's headed for Adventure Bay, Ryder said. Crash! The spaceship slammed into Farmer Yumi's barn. Strange, glowing rings came out of the spaceship, and they formed a big green bubble around Farmer Yumi's cow, Bettina. The bubble lifted Bettina into the air. Moo! Mayor Goodway was at a square dance in Farmer Yumi's barn. When she came out of the barn, she saw Bettina trapped in the floating bubble. She called Ryder right away. Can you help poor Bettina and find out what's going on here? We're on it, Mayor Goodway, Ryder promised. No job is too big, no pup is too small. Ryder called the other members of the Paw Patrol and told them about Bettina's problem. They jumped into their vehicles and raced to Farmer Yumi's barn. The shining stars lit their way. Paw Patrol is on the roll, Ryder shouted. When they reached the barn, they saw Bettina still floating in the bubble. Weird, Chase said. How does she stay up there? I don't know, Ryder said, but I think this might have something to do with it. He pointed at the crashed spaceship. With the suction cups from Chase's zipline, the pups pulled Bettina out of the green bubble. Chase, I need you to use your spy gear to find the pilot of that spaceship, Ryder said. Yes, sir, Ryder, sir, Chase said. Night vision goggles. Green goggles slid down from Chase's helmet to cover his eyes and help him see in the dark. He sniffed the ground, searching for the missing pilot. Chase didn't find the pilot. He found Mayor Goodway and Chickaletta trapped in a floating bubble. How did you two get up there? He cried. A little green space alien beamed us up, Mayor Goodway explained. Chase used the net in his backpack to pull the mayor and Chickaletta out of the green bubble.
Then he continued his search for the little green space alien. Chase found something. A round green head! He looked closer. Oops, it's just a melon. He looked around and saw that he was in a field of melons. He walked down one row. Melon, melon, space alien, melon. Wait, space alien? The little alien looked scared.
Ba, ba-bee, ba-ba-ba-ba,
He said. Sorry, said Chase, but I don't understand what you're saying. The alien pointed at Chase, and yellow rings came out of his finger. A green bubble formed around the pup and lifted him up. Whoa! Chase yelped. The little green alien ran off, leaving Chase trapped in the floating bubble. Chase tried to push his way out of the bubble, but he was stuck. Help! Help! Anybody? He called. He got an idea. If I can pull Bettina and the mayor free, I can pull myself out too. Zip line! The zip line shot out of his backpack and attached itself to 2 trees. Chase slid down the line and out of the bubble. The alien made his way to the lookout, which looked like a spaceship to him. Ryder and the pups found the alien trying to fly the lookout. He wanted to go home to his mom. Ryder pulled out his pup pad and made a call. Rocky, how's it going with fixing that spaceship? Are you close? Yes, Rocky said. Look out the window. Ryder, the pups, and the alien all ran to the window and saw Rocky flying the spaceship. He had fixed it with some old parts he'd found in his truck. A pink coat hanger made a fine antenna. A bicycle wheel worked as part of the landing gear. Don't lose it, reuse it, Rocky said. The alien hopped up and down happily.
Bay, ba, ba, bay, ba, 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 ba.
Ryder kneeled and said to the alien, whenever you're in trouble, just yelp, or beep beep beep, for help. Come on. He led the way into the spaceship. The happy little alien flew his new spaceship with Rocky and Ryder in it. Then he beamed the rest of the Paw Patrol aboard.
We're flying in a spaceship,
Skye said.
Sweet.
Awesome, the others agreed. As they flew over Adventure Bay, they waved to Mayor Goodway and Chickaletta. Coolest ride ever, Ryder said. The little green alien beamed the pups and Ryder onto the field in front of the lookout. As the alien flew back to his home planet and his family, Ryder and the Paw Patrol waved goodbye to their new friend. Dinosaur Rescue. It was a beautiful day in Adventure Bay, and the pups were playing tug of war. Good game, said Ryder when they were finished. Way to tug, pups. Just then, Ryder's pup pad rang. He was getting a call from his pup friend Rex, who lived in Dinoland. Hi, Rex, said Ryder. Is everything okay? Not really, Ryder, said Rex. There's a volcano here that looks like it's going to erupt, and a bunch of dinosaurs are right near it. Ryder knew he and the pups had to help. We're on our way, he said. No dinosaur is too big, no pup is too small. Paw Patrol to the Dino Patroller. With Robo-Dog at the wheel, the Dino Patroller raced into a secret tunnel, splashed through a waterfall, and soon arrived in Dinoland, where Rex was waiting for them. Hi, Rex, said Marshall, exiting the truck. Good to see you. You too, replied Rex, but we've got to hurry to save our dino friends. All the pups headed straight to the dino lookout. For this mission, I'll need Chase, said Ryder. You'll have to use your siren and megaphone to get the dinosaurs' attention. Lead them to the clearing where the lava can't reach them. Chase is on the case, said Chase. And Rex, I need you to use your big wheels to help Chase herd the dinos, said Ryder, and your ability to speak dino to tell them where they need to go. Let's dino do it, said Rex. All right, said Ryder. Paw Patrol is on the roll.
They quickly reached the foot of the volcano where the dinosaurs were grazing. "Dinos, you need to get out of here," Chase announced through his megaphone. But the dinosaurs didn't move. Rex began speaking Dino to the creatures. He grunted, growled, and roared, then shouted, "Time to go! The volcano's going to blow! Hot lava!" The dinosaurs understood and ran to safety with Rex. As the big dinosaurs thundered through the jungle, a baby triceratops stopped to chew on a stick. A little velociraptor tried to chomp on the same stick. Suddenly, a protective mama triceratops bumped the raptor away from her child. The scared little raptor rolled onto a ledge on the side of the volcano. "I don't think he can get down," said Rex. "You're right," said Ryder, "and he may be in the path of the lava. I'll call Skye." Skye sped to save the velociraptor.
"Hold still and I'll get you,"
she said to the dinosaur. Just as she lowered her harness, the volcano rumbled, and the little raptor slid off the ledge. Skye immediately swooped down and caught him. "Ryder, look what that little bit of lava did to the grass," said Chase. This eruption could burn the whole grazing area," said Ryder. "That's not good," said Rex. "This is the dino's favorite place to eat." "I'll call in more help," said Ryder. "Rubble, Marshall." "Rubble, dig a trench so the lava will flow away from the grassland and into that canyon," said Ryder. "One trench coming up," said Rubble. "Marshall," said Ryder, "whenever you see lava drop onto the grass, cool it down with water before it starts to burn." As Rubble went to work digging, Marshall activated his water cannons. The jets of water quickly cooled the fiery lava, turning it into steaming rock. Ryder helped a baby stegosaurus get into the back of Chase's truck as the other dinosaurs marched across a bridge to safety. Suddenly, the volcano thundered fiercely. The ground shook and trees fell, blocking the bridge. Ryder called for Rocky and Zuma, and they raced to the scene. "Let's clear away those trees," he told them. Rocky used the claws on his truck to lift the fallen trees out of the way. Zuma snagged the logs with his truck's hook and hauled them off. "Great work, pups," Ryder cheered. The dinosaurs had gotten across the bridge just in time. More and more lava was spilling from the volcano. "Rubble!" Ryder yelled. "We have to get out of here!" But Rubble wasn't done with the trench. He lifted one last scoop of dirt. "That's it!" Rubble exclaimed. Then he zoomed away with Marshall and Ryder. The lava flowed through the trench and down into a canyon. The dinosaurs' grazing land was saved. Just then, there was a loud boom, boom, boom. "That volcano just won't stop," Ryder declared as he called Skye. "Check the grazing area one more time," he told her. "That's not the volcano," Skye reported. "It's a T-Rex in trouble. He's stuck near the lava." The Dino Patroller raced to save the T-Rex. Rex bravely raised his chair until he was face to face with the giant creature. Speaking Dino, he promised the T-Rex they could help him if he just stepped onto the platform on the side of the truck. The T-Rex carefully stepped on, and the big truck roared away. The Dino Patroller went faster and faster, but there was a river of lava in the way. "Robo-Dog," said Ryder, "use those rocks like a launching ramp." The vehicle hit the boulders and flew into the air. It zoomed over the lava. The Dino Patroller landed safely with a thump. The grateful T-Rex leaped off the platform and raced happily into the jungle. The dinosaurs were safe. As Ryder and the pups left the Dino Patroller ramp, the little Stegosaurus began grunting at them. "He's saying thanks," Rex said. You're welcome, said Ryder. Whenever you need to move a bunch of dinosaurs, just yelp for help. The end.